Yes, yes, yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man
DJ
at Just Lex and the
Carl
wonderful,
in
the
the
magnificent, the feeling 100%
Carl.
health-wise.
And
Miss Juicy J. I'm not going to speak to anyone's mental health or how they're doing before they do it themselves, okay?
Exactly.
Listen. For me, look, things have been going okay, right? I've been spending a lot of time with my kids, like getting the dog day. I think that these are the dog days of summer, right? It's that time where barbecue shit is over and you're already, as a parent or a kid, mentally preparing yourself for the school year. I noticed that my own kids have started talking about school and having to go to bed early eventually because I want them to understand that going to bed late, that shit is out the window.
Yeah.
Right? So playing video games all day, that shit is out the window. Thinking we going swimming every day is out the window. Right? So I barely have enough time to do the things that, like, luckily the sun is still out late. So I get home in a decent amount of time to do all the shit we be doing. For those of y'all that follow me on Instagram, you know my daughter's been playing golf. We've been taking it very heavily this summer. She's taking on to it. She's doing really well. That shit comes at a cost of my personal freedom, right? My stepson is playing travel baseball right now. They waited all summer to let me know that we got our first tournament at the end of the month. So, with that being said, I'm about to be back in purgatory as soon as the time changes because everything is a rush before sundown hits. So, that's how I've been doing. That's why I mentally needed fucking like last week to just sit in the house and do absolutely nothing because I knew that I had to get the dog days of summer fun left. There's 2 weeks left for me to like really be outside, and we were outside literally all fucking weekend. So again, like I did it, you know, I'm doing it for them. I'm sorry to y'all, but not sorry at the same time because y'all gonna be in the grind with us.
Yeah.
And the good thing is we got the pod to let this shit off, and y'all got the pod to listen to know that somebody else is going through it too.
Exactly.
So Jay, how you been?
Man, well, I was super sick. Like, I thought I had COVID, and then I was disappointed when I found out I didn't have COVID because when I first got sick, I still had things that were happening that I was like, I need to take care of these things. And so when I was like, okay, I'm going to test for COVID, though, I'm going to be positive, and then I'm going to be able to shut down. Like, and have a good valid reason to. But like 2 days later, my body was like, you know what? I'm done with you. Like, you've done too much. And I completely was just like debilitatedly sick. And then because I was so sick physically and I wasn't going out, and then my mental health turned really quickly. And that was really scary because I didn't think that I didn't know that I could still get back to that kind of place mentally so quickly, after feeling so good for a while. So it was very humbling to be like, oh, you can have suicidal thoughts again. You can have really bad intrusive thoughts. You can feel hopeless, like within a matter of days of like not taking care of yourself, you know? And so, but I'm feeling like, you know, and she will rise again.
Right.
As corny as that sounds, but I'm like, all right, like, okay, put on your bootstraps, put on your big girl panties, like, pull yourself out the gutter,
Absolutely.
like, get it going. Let's get it going. And like you said, preparing for the reality of school hitting too. It's like, oh, all right.
Start times for people with kids, right? Like very, very start times, right? Join the brigade. Don't you do it.
I got that out the way.
Nah, you're starting out the beginning.
No, I'm not. No, I'm talking about I got this. My kids went to school last week. So.
Oh, wow.
Your shit don't count, though. Y'all on a whole different island. Your brake system is different. Like, you're going to get relief in another month and a half. Like, yo, when we're just getting into it, you know? Like, you know what? As a kid, speaking of, like, shit you wasn't outside for, like, I remember, like, being, like, in school August and September and it being hot still.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
Like, you know, we think it's hot now, but I remember it being hot then. You know why? That fucking blacktop used to radiate everything. But it was hot enough, bro, for me to be like,
sweating.
Yo, yeah, I was sweating and being on campus and like, yo, this blacktop that we walking across in the parking lots and shit like that, or when you a kid walking by the four square shit, I'm like, yo, It's fucking me up. So it ain't this hot. You're right, but it was hot enough out here where because we would get 3 or 4 days where it felt sort of like this, sort of 3, not a whole 2 months. So I agree with you, yes, but we had 3 days of this shit, at least.
And this sounds crazy because if you know what's going on in the rest of California, this shit is nothing.
This shit's on. Well, it's on fire in certain places too. We keep getting alerts all the time at my job. So
we ain't seen triple digits in a minute.
That's been a while.
A whole year and some change, 2 years maybe, and they be getting it the whole summer.
You right. I lived in these places.
I'm just saying.
I'm thinking the Central Valley. Yeah,
it's hot as shit. Yo, 105 at night is crazy. I agree. And we're supposed to be going to Vegas soon. So I was like, I'm like, when I say soon, I mean before October. So I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, my man, have a wedding at a different time. Why are we here? We got to talk about that. Totally forgot about that. We got to figure that out. I know. You know it's you. So you have to figure out this electronic shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry. She's here for a reason. Yeah. I would love that cast, too. I want to hear it. Like, I want to hear it bad. You know? Just send me the file. I want to hear it. Send me the file. I'll show you how to do everything. Everything. Show you how to do everything. Oh, man. So, Lex, how you been, man?
Cool, man. We finished up the flag season. We're currently currently in his first hell week.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that pushing the bag.
And
not in the cool ass way either. It was hell week way.
I didn't get the video of them. Like, I didn't want to embarrass them because they was out there crying.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. You like hurt. That? Look how sick he is.
This fool, because they had a flag. They had a playoff game in their flag. And then went straight to a 3-hour tackle practice. So all them kids was hurting. And then some of them kids play travel baseball, and they have some sort of World Series or some shit going on.
Yeah, it started on Friday.
And they had multiple games during the day too. These travel ball games, because they Chula Vista went back to school, but the travel ball
they be pulling the kids out of school.
Yeah, they be pulling them kids out of school.
Crazy. It's a travel ball. I told you it's different out here.
It's real different.
It's real different, bro.
They be on it too.
I hate it. Look, he was shooting baskets today. I told my dad, looked at him in the face. I said, I hope.
No.
I said, I hope that this other party takes over. I was like, because they don't even understand how much I loathe this shit, right? I was like, I love ball, but not what this shit has become. I believe that's why our Coach Holland quit. He was young. There was no reason for him to quit, but he always hated travel ball. And so I quit, but I think retired is a better word. I think he probably sat down one day and was like, yo, I did everything I could do in the era that I liked it to be, because right now it's weird. It really is. My man was telling me, or our friend that we have in common, that 1 year in AAU is $3,000 in summer. And that's just
dollars?
To get $3,000, $1,500 to $3,000, depending on travel expenses and what tournaments you go to.
Oh,
and
my.
the fees you pay. You got to pay to get into these events too. I remember it used to be free to get into.
Yeah, all these games.
Yeah, all these games.
And they're not little $2-3 tickets. It's just like, it's like a $10-$20.
Oh, you
ticket.
have to also pay as a parent to attend the game?
Yes.
Not just, the referee fee
You can't
or
be like,
whatever fee.
I drove him here.
I want to say coaches got to pay to get in too.
Oh my God.
I want to say that they don't give you no grace in that. And if you do, you still pay the tournament fee for your kid. That's insulting. Just put my shit up another $10 so I don't see it.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Include my ticket cost
like they don't even get your shit off right. So, but anyway, go ahead. I cut you off in your moment.
Not even. Yeah. Other than that, I've just been kind of super reflective because this time be moving. You know what?
Are you getting into it?
I guess.
Okay.
But I'm not starting from the beginning because it's too much. So I'm gonna start with what makes sense today because it's August.
Can I ask you the burning question then? Let's do it in a formality way.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think like I'll help you out.
Ooh, can we
right?
interview?
Not to that degree. I'm not gonna step on it. But the way she said it, I was semi with it, not all the way. But it seemed like I was going with it. But what I'm saying is that the burning question that people have been asking us, right? Is, hey, is Lex still married? Right? And I tell people all the time, look, it's not my business to tell, right? And if it's someone that we know mutually, I'll explain the story because I know that it will not get back to me with the individuals that are asking because we've entrusted them in our circles and places that we've been to.
Yeah.
Right? Or they've been involved somehow, right? As a listener or someone we know that we've had in common because we have gone through this shit back and forth for quite some time now. I want to say about 2 years, 2.5 years, right? And so I don't know how much he's going to give up, but, you know, I'm glad that he's able to talk about it because that means that he's in a space where, you know, he feels comfortable. But it affected us, right? It affected our relationship. Ooh, it tested it tested time, right? And the reason why I say that, and I'm not saying that like we never got into an argument, but there were moments where we could have pivoted to different directions where we probably would have never had this pot, right? Wow. Depending on how either of our demeanors took that and all of us being vulnerable. There was things that I heard about me that I hated, right? But I can't control what others think. There were things that were said about him in which I had to defend him, and on top of that, support him at the same time through those things. And some of those things, right, I'm just happy that we're all in a better place. So with that being said, I wanted to set that stage because I know you're going to get straight to the gritty, but I at least had to explain what the fuck we've been through a little bit as a unit. Yes.
Yeah, I'll hop over that part because that wasn't the part I was going to focus on totally, but technically, I am still legally married.
There we go.
However, we are not together. We are currently looking for the most successful path to trying to be model co-parents. And that, you know, as you can imagine, has been a roller coaster, especially given the past year and some change that I've had. But, yeah, that shit ain't easy, man. I don't wish that shit upon, like, nobody. Like, that shit ain't cool. But that kind of happened the very, very top of 2023. And I won't get into that too much, but it definitely did affect me, like, a lot. And I'll probably sprinkle in details about that as they become relevant, but it affected me a lot to the point. The reason I waited till August to whatever is because, one, I'm in a better place with just everything in general, but I guess I'm going to speak as if it's tomorrow because that's when we drop, but today is the year anniversary that I went to jail. And that's why I'm like, oh, shit's moving. Like, I felt like that shit just happened because that shit is mad vivid.
Right. Shit like that be vivid.
And, you know, I was going through it and trying to find my way, and it got to a point where, you know, I really had to take a look at my relationship with alcohol. And, you know, I had been downward trending for a little bit to that point, but then, you know, this was definitely a different type of wake-up call, right? Now, you know, most people, I think everybody knows at least somebody that has a DUI. A lot of people talk about it like it's not the biggest deal in the world, right? So me, who's known several people who's had to deal with being on the other end and seeing it, I thought I was prepared for what was coming with it. And it seems like every single turn, every single consequence that I've had to deal with has been a little bit rougher. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say like it always could be worse, right? I'm very thankful to where I'm at, what I'm doing, but it definitely went way, way different than I thought it was going to do. So I thought I'd open up this new little, and I'm about to give it up with my jail story.
There you go.
We all have one.
I don't, but I think it's too late for me too. Like, yeah, well, I guess not. Not too late.
Funny guy.
Not too late.
You trying to punch me down?
I'm back. That's my bad. First week back.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, you know, it wasn't just a regular DUI where you're like, oh shit, you know, throw me in the drunk tank, you know, slap me with some fines, and I gotta do this little class or whatever it is. That's what most people go through their first time, right? Mind you, I'm a model citizen. I'm a staple of my community. I'm a taxpayer. I have a clean record, right? So knowing that, on top of like my white privilege, like, oh, I'm finally gonna be able to flex some of this shit, right? They ain't care about none of that shit the whole time.
You hang with blacks?
And
You grew up in what neighborhood?
but anyway, so it was like the universe had to put me in my place because my DUI didn't actually happen. Like, I didn't get caught because of like, oh, I was fading, I was driving, and they caught me, right? Mm-hmm. I was driving home from a birthday thing, and I was getting onto the 805, and there was an overpass, and something came down from that shit and hit my car. And I was like, what? So it threw me off, and I swerved, and I was merging onto the freeway, and I ran into a pole, and my airbags came out, and I was like, oh shit. And so like my car is done, but I'm in like the middle of the thing, right? And I had to like, oh shit, I need to get out the way. So I had to push my car to the side. And as I'm handling, insurance, calling a tow truck and stuff like that, the cops pulled up, and I was like, oh fuck.
Fuck.
And they had smelt it on me, and I was like, and so they got me. And it was rough because the whole time, the only thing I was thinking of, I mean, obviously while I was in there, there was a lot happening, but the only thing I was thinking of was like, wow, I really put myself in the position, not only to put my kids in danger, but they had to see me get drug away by the police. And that shit really, really fucked me up. And it was a Saturday, so I wasn't going to be just in and out. And so I get taken down there, and right away I'm already kind of irritated because I'm sitting there and I'm just like, here we go. And the cops are like, this dude comes out and he's like, oh, let me guess, DUI, blah, blah, blah. And it's like he was playing like some sort of side bet game. And he's doing this, and he said, yeah, this. And so he's like, yo, fuck yeah. Like he owed him like $5 or he owed him lunch or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, damn, like, now we all got jobs at some point where you got to do what you got to do to get through the day. Time just be dragging, whatever it may be. But I was like, damn. So I was like, yo, my man. And I was still a little bit faded. So I was like, hey.
Fuck it.
I was like, hey, like, and I told him, I was like, hey, I get the fact that you guys might have little games you play to get through the day, but like, at least take that shit to the back, man, because some people are having the worst day of their life or, some shit like that. Yeah, sure. And I just don't think it's like, funny. I forgot what word I said, but basically it's like, that's kind of unkind. You know what I mean? And he kind of took it serious. He was like, oh, let me shut the fuck up. And he went to the back. Now, here's how ill prepared I was, right? Because I'm sitting here just trying to be strategic. Because at this point, like, they got me down there, but they don't have my BAC. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, like, when they take the hair or they take the swab, like, that shit is more accurate than when you blow. Mm-hmm. But apparently it's the other way around.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm going to go for the blow, right? I blew. I was like, ooh, that ain't good. Damn. So I'm in there.
That ain't good.
That ain't good. Can't imagine.
That's the title this week. That ain't good.
Yeah, there you go. Look at it. You're a vet. She's a veteran. I was thinking the same thing. You're a vet. Yeah, that ain't good.
So they throw me into like the first little, holding area, and I'm in there, and I'm like, yo, it's cold as fuck. It's dirty as shit. My man came in. I don't know how. It looked like he must have been up for days because he was like naked pretty much. Aww. And he found a way to sleep on this concrete floor. Yeah. And it was the best sleep he ever got in his life. I was like, he must have been high for like 2 weeks and he's just coming down.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, all right, man. And to me, I don't do well sitting down in one spot. And it's a whole bunch of waiting. And there's not a lot of space. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And, at the, they pump in cold air. in jail because the warmer it is, people like to fight and they get irritated. So they pump in cold air like artificially to keep everybody kind of calmer. And so I was in there for however long I know. They finally pick us up. I'm like, all right, cool. They move us into this other holding area. This is where everybody's at. It's not that big of an area, but it's mad crowded. I find a little spot. And I'm like, fuck, man, it's concrete. Shit hurting. There's trash everywhere. They give me a little a baggie with some bread and some like they called that shit peanut butter.
Were you at SD like downtown?
Yeah, I was downtown. And I'm in there and I'm like, fuck. How long are we gonna wait in here?
The downtown one is bad. Too.
Yeah.
I've been in there. Woo.
And people are just talking.
Shit.
And I'm like, man, people over here for some other
For
shit.
some other shit. Yeah.
People over here talking about nonsense, and I'm just sitting here. But I'm like, all right, well, the only thing I can do, like, all right, at least I can people watch, right? That's what I like to do. And people just on the phone, hogging it. I'm like, man, I need to call my people. I need to call somebody, because, yeah. And phone was not letting up. And I'm just like, all right. And we're there for a minute. So finally, it's my turn. I get up. I'm like, all right, the phone was clear. I get on the phone. And I'm about to start dialing. And all I hear is, phone check. Like I said, I'm a first timer, but I know a little bit about a little bit. That ain't how phone check works in my definition. So I'm like, okay. But either way, I'm like, someone's trying to flex on me right now. And so I keep going. I'm trying to get the little thing right, the little directory. I was like, hey, did you hear me? I said, phone check, bitch. And I was like, oh
shit.
I was like, I'm going to need about 5 minutes. He's like, but did you hear me? I was like, regardless of what you said, I'm going to need about 5 minutes. And so he didn't like the fact that I was talking back to him, right?
Said the word regardless, too. You using big ass words.
I don't like that. And
I
so,
swear to God, don't
Sound
use
like
big
you
words.
sent it an email.
Yeah, they
he
did a white collar crime.
Hey, he must have still been high or something, right? So
Black dude?
nah, he was like Mexican.
Oh, shit.
So I turn around because I'm like, well, I'm not about to have my fucking back to him. I turn around and I'm still holding the phone like, I'm about to make this call, like whatever you want to. And so he looks at me. He fucking cocks back.
Oh, fuck.
But I could tell he must have had something in the system because he wasn't like quick with it. But he put so much into it. I'm like, it took so long to like come at me. I was like, oh. So he throws it at me and I move and he goes straight into the fucking wall. And it's a concrete wall.
Hell
so
yeah, concrete wedge.
So he was like, I was like, oh, that really pissed him off.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, maybe he like, okay, maybe I need to chill the fuck out. He like backed up and charges at me, right? And so I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna get no phone call made. I dropped the phone. I fucking underlay his ass. He throws his whole shoulder and head into the wall.
Oh, no.
And then he hits the ground. And I'm like, all right, my normal instinct is I need to jump on top of this motherfucker and be like, are we good?
Yeah.
But at the moment, I was like, all right, he looked like he had enough for himself. So I just kind of backed into a different corner and was like, all right, now I just got to sit here and watch him. Because he looked like he had enough at that point, and he stopped moving for a minute.
Well, he ran himself into a wall.
So meanwhile,
Absolutely.
so I'm sitting there. The one thing I was thankful for was I ate a whole lot of food before I got in.
Oh, so you weren't hungry.
So my man who was sleeping on the concrete, who was naked, he goes in, and there was trash from whatever group was before, and they had like left little pieces of bread or whatever, or orange or something. He's crawling across the floor and he's gathering up all this shit. He knocked out about 8 PB&Js. That's a lot of carbs, right? And so I'm looking at him like, the last thing I'm gonna do in jail is drink some milk, because there ain't no fucking toilet in here, and I ain't about to be doing none of this. So I just tossed my bag. I said, yo, my man. I tossed my bag to him. He had another one. He went down to sleep and he was gone. And so we're sitting there.
How long? Like, how many hours has it been?
I don't know, because there ain't no clocks.
Had it been a day or still the
I
same
don't know.
day?
No windows.
I have no idea.
You didn't look at the report afterwards? Like, you don't have an estimation of how long
I know by the time I got housed, it had been a whole day.
Okay, by the time you got in like a little
Because
spot?
I'm sitting here thinking, so we get pulled out again, and I get pulled into another holding cell. I'm like, yo, when? And so they just keep taking me like different places. And then so they take me to the place where I'm going to be at for the rest of the night.
Is there a bed?
And we get, no, it's another holding cell. So there's like a concrete slab to sit on that some people like laid across, and I'm like, all right. Now me, I don't sleep well. I don't sleep on planes. I can't sleep in cars. I barely sleep in my own bed. This was gonna be a rough night. And I'm sitting here looking at the brilliance of people in jail. Like, they finding any way to fashion up a pillow. They taking their sandals out. They wrapping some shit. I'm just like, hey, like, it was nice to watch. Like, hey, we gonna find a way.
Ingenuity.
That's the exact word I was thinking.
Criminals are always a step ahead.
Absolutely.
So I found me a little spot, and I'm just like, all right, I ain't gonna sleep, but maybe I might pass out.
Were you like in the middle? Were you like? I feel like I'd be trying to find like a wall.
I was in the middle. I was next to a wall.
I wonder where your friend was.
He got pulled somewhere else.
There you go.
Good.
No, otherwise I wouldn't have laid down. But I laid down, and I'm like, all right, man, this shit crazy. And I'm just sitting here like, I ain't gonna sleep. I guess this is the part where you think about what you did.
Yeah.
And I'm over here sitting like, damn, am I gonna start rapping again? Like, what am I gonna do to get this time passed?
Start rapping is crazy.
And this dude went to sleep, and he was sleeping hard. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was just about to get tired. And the way he was snoring, I thought he was joking. I was like, he's gotta be trolling people. Like, this shit there's no way you're that comfortable. And this dude was,
there's no way you're that
it was
asleep.
So fucking loud. And I'm like, no fucking way. I felt like I was about to get me a good, like, 20-minute nap. All of a sudden, they do a...
I know how that feels.
That's hate.
It was hate.
But it's irritating when you can't
That's why
sleep.
this shit's funny, though. I know it's hate, though. That's funny. Keep going.
So they do like a med call, right? So they come up, who need meds, right? He wakes up, like, nobody could wake him up. They was jumping on him, fucking elbowing him. As soon as I said, anybody need meds? He's up.
Fucking Walking Dead.
He's at the thing, right? And so I'm like, all right. I was like, good look. Now he's up. Cool. He gets his meds. Everyone does their thing. He lays back down. I swear to God, I counted. It was 22 seconds. He was right back to snoring. I was like, you got it. So I was like, I was gonna be an observer, but I gotta be vocal now. I was like, hey yo, somebody hit him.
That's funny.
I know I ain't the only one that's irritated. Somebody hit him. He can't do this.
Oh, he can't do this.
It was not working.
Why didn't you give him like the elbow?
I wasn't over there. He was on the other side.
Got it.
And so I'm sitting there, and then at that point, it had been at least 12 hours because breakfast is at 4 a.m. And they woke up, and I'm like, oh, the way they scrounging, like, oh, this shit, is it lit? Like, as far as I know, this ain't about to be good.
It's a buffet.
They started giving the trays out. I get this. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm still full.
What was it?
They called it oatmeal. But I was like, this banana, I'm going to hold this banana.
I'm gonna hold this banana.
I'm gonna hold this banana just in case. But bananas make me shit. So I didn't want to, but I was like, let me hold it.
Had you pooped at this point? You hadn't even peed?
I turned back into fucking junior high school where I was at school like, hey, until I get home.
Is the toilets inside?
Yeah, alleged toilets.
Did you have
all
to
the
shit?
toilets?
But no doors or stalls, right?
No, and they're all connected to the water fountain. So the water fountain's up here, and you're like shitting right here.
Yeah, I know where it is.
And I'm like, nah.
You didn't see nobody.
I was dehydrated as fuck. I was like, I'm gonna stay dehydrated because I ain't peeing.
Yeah, that's a great
I'm not
question.
shitting.
Hold on,
Did you see anyone go?
Yeah.
Take shit too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's so hard to do.
Apparently, some people's comfortable in there. Like I was like, hey.
She said that's so hard. I'd be gun shy.
No,
I'm already gun shy.
I wasn't gun shy.
I'm already gun shy.
When I hear people's footsteps walking, I'm like,
it wasn't about being gun shy. It's more about being paranoid that someone's gonna come up to you.
Yeah, don't get me on the
when
shit.
You're vulnerable.
It's not gun shy. Like, oh, don't look at my dick. It wasn't that.
No, that part I'm not worried about.
It's like, don't catch me while I'm shitting.
Oh, I thought you said you was
shitting, pissing. I can do that all day long. I do that at the golf course. But I ain't taking shit in front of nobody. I usually can do that.
Hey, you gotta test
I'm not shitting.
Imagine trying to. You gotta get up real quick and test your gangster with your shit as your ankles.
Look. You're worried about like getting stabbed while on the shitter. I'm worried about committing to even sitting down. Right, like that part is second. Yeah, like once I get down, once I start going, and everyone in there's got to run. So you.
This is serious. We need to get serious.
I know. He needs to laugh at his pain. Keep going. Go ahead.
So breakfast come in, and so my man who I gave the sandwich stuff to, he's still in here, and I'm like, hey, big dog, so are you.
You got you a friend.
Scooted. No.
He done made an ally.
He knocked that shit out.
He done made an ally.
I'm bribing him.
I laid back down and was like, all right. They call us out one by one.
Out of the space?
Out of the cell to explain like why we're like, do you understand why you're here? Blah blah blah. He looked at my shit and said, "Damn." He's like, "This is a little steep." My bail was 100 racks.
Oh my!
Straight black man.
For your first offense.
Well, the thing is, what made everything difficult was my kids were in the car.
Were they trying to get you with a child endangerment?
They did. I got 2 felonies. And so
Certified.
that made everything so much more difficult for me.
It. Yes.
And so he's like, all right, we're going to get you to a spot or whatever. But we was in there for so fucking long. And so they pulled me and like 3 other, they pulled me and this other guy out. The guy they pulled out was the most talkative person in the cell. And he needed a fucking therapist. And I'm like, oh shit. And they put us in another holding cell and it's just us 2. So on one hand, I'm like, cool. There ain't so many people around. On the other hand, the one person who is around, he don't want to shut the fuck up. And he's just like, yeah, man. The wild part is like, he's like, I'm here on a DV charge. I didn't ask him a question. And he's just like, and the crazy part was I'm the one who called the cops. And I'm like, hey man, I guess it bees like that. Like,
You do, because the ones that be calling the cops are the ones that are guilty.
I was like, cool, whatever. And he's talking about whatever, but I'm like, all right, he's not dangerous. At least to me. There were some other people I was like, yeah, I'm going to turn this way. So eventually some other guy joins us and he's one of them dudes that I was like, I got to look. Because I recognize him from the outside. I'm not going to say where.
Oh, wow.
But he didn't recognize me.
Oh, good.
But he's in there and he's like, oh man, he's mad because apparently he got up to some floor he wanted to be at where it's like all day room all the time. And I guess he was like doing too much talking. It sounded like my kids, right? You got what you wanted, but you're talking too much about it. And now I know about it. So now I got to take it away from you. That's what happened to him. So he's banging on the door like, hey, yo, they let me up there. That was y'all mistake. Y'all got to let me go back. And he just complaining the whole time about it. So I guess they were doing something and we were going to miss lunch. So they didn't give us the trays yet. So they hand us more PB&J materials. At this point, I'm like, all right, I got to do something.
You're hungry a little bit?
I'm not going to eat. I'm not drinking this milk still. And I'm dehydrated as fuck, but I'll fashion out this little jam toast or whatever. So I had a little bread and was like, all right. Man, they couldn't even get the bread right.
Multi-grain?
And so, no, it was like, the consistency was like, this is fake. It's not even real bread. Like, damn, y'all skipped on the bread? Like,
it's fake bread.
I don't know, but that's what it was.
That's what it was.
I be trying to figure out where the money go to in the jail system. But keep going.
So finally, however many hours we was in there, they're like, all right, we found y'all home. I'm like, thank God, I think. So he's like, yeah, they're going to pull us out. So they pull us out, take the elevator, we go upstairs. We come out.
Are you cuffed?
At that point, yes.
Wow, they treating you like a real criminal.
Every time we left the cell, we had to be cuffed. And
like your ankles and your...
Ankles, no.
So, women, we like the details. Men, you guys jump to the big stuff. So I got to ask
no, I usually paint details,
ladies.
but I also haven't thought about this in a while.
Yeah.
And so I haven't... If it was in the midst of when I was telling people... I waited. But I've told a few people the story, and, it was probably funnier back then. But...
it's still pretty wild.
I get up. No, but my delivery was better because it was way more fresh. I get up, right? And we come to the spot and your bed's wrapped up and there's a big ass box with like toiletries or whatever. And so everyone, I grab my bed, I grab toiletries and I'm walking by there. Hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, huh? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you told me to go in here. You just gonna steal like that? I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, no.
And he's like, why are you taking that shit out the box? It's wrapped up in your bed. That's extra. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? It's not like I can see the shit peeking through. Like, the shit's wrapped up. I just grabbed the bed. And why you put the box right there?
Who asked you that?
Sheriff.
Okay. Oh, was he being smart?
No, he
was dead serious. And so I'm like, I'm about to go back in. He's like, wait. Is this your first time? I said, yeah. He said, oh, come here real quick.
He was out to give you some free
And
game.
he's like, hey,
He's white?
man. No. Or no. He might have been.
Light skin.
Nah, I think he was some sort of Spanish.
Okay, got you.
But he felt like he needed to give you
He
a
was
few
like-
I
tips.
thought he was giving you the white civic duty.
Trying to
Like, it's my
take
duty.
him under your
No.
Let me take you under my
No,
wing, son.
but then he did. So he's trying to give me a little like, hey, when you go up in there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's like, so here's what's gonna
Out of him.
happen. He's like, you're gonna be a wood, and I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, I thought this was your first time.
What's a wood?
A wood is a white person.
Peckerwood.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I thought this was your first time.
Clan adjacent.
Yeah,
Got
and so
not Lex at all.
right, and that's
This
why the
is your
story
assigned
gets a little
identity?
interesting because of that.
Oh my goodness.
And so he's like, yeah, I was like, well, just because it's my first time, I still, like, I do know a little bit about a little bit.
I
And
know
he's like,
little
okay, well, here's the
jail
thing.
talk.
He's like, okay, so if you know that, you know, you got the brothers, you got the others, and you got the homies. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, so I'm going to try to put you in there with some other woods, but it's kind of weird in there right now. And I'm just like,
What?
thanks for that.
More weird than jail?
I'm better off
Okay.
not knowing. I'm better off not knowing. I'd rather figure it out when I get in there.
Thought he was giving me reassurance. Now I'm more anxious.
Those make me second guess me. Like,
So he takes the shit out of my hand. He's like, all right. He's like, are we going to put you in A2? I'm looking over there. And there's this Mexican dude at the doorway that's blocking the whole thing.
Oh, Lord.
But as soon as I walk in, you would have thought fucking, like I was that dude. Another wood. Another. Like they got their numbers. They count.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm like... And so the dude that was talking a lot, he was Mexican. He walked in with me, and then the other dude that was with me, he was Mexican. They went upstairs and they did their thing. But when I walked in, I was a fucking celebrity. And
Was it all other white men?
I didn't really do a whole bunch of peep in the area. I just went straight to the cell. The dude that was in there with me was Mexican. So I'm like, all right.
Okay.
And then I'm looking, I see
Hopefully the woods is up.
hey, low key, that's kind of, I was like,
Hopefully my numbers is up. Oh,
so I'm looking
shit.
and I was like, oh, they do the, so me, I was thinking they was doing the double, but they do the triple beds over there.
A triple
And then
bunk bed.
this white dude runs down the stairs and he runs into the room. And I was like, yeah, it's a fucking, this shit is a little compact sardine and there's 3 people in there.
It's one room.
It's one
with
room,
One bunk.
triple bed.
Triple's
So
crazy.
he's on the top and he scurries his little ass down.
No, he's upstairs in the
They gonna
pod.
put his ass
And
at
he
the top.
ran
Is your door,
downstairs.
your guys' little room door is unlocked? You have
Yeah,
freedom?
they were like getting us up.
Okay.
So it just so happens that I walked into the pod boss's cell. If you're familiar with, like, he runs the whole shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there confused. Or they were the trustees too, right? So they did all the, like, they helped with dinner and cleaning
They're
up
like
and
the
stuff.
leaders.
So they got a little bit of extra privileges. So I'm in there, and he's like, "All right, so in our house we take our shoes off. We do that. If you got to pee sitting down because
The
we don't want to
splash.
whatever this and that." And I'm like, "Hey man, I keep it clean. Like I'm cool with that. Ain't trying to
This a
be
wood.
messy. This is wood."
Okay.
But I can
Leader of
tell
the woods.
he had some tendencies. So he was like, he wasn't all the way. I felt like he knew what he was doing.
Tendencies?
Like he wasn't all the way. Like he wasn't super KKK with it.
Oh, okay.
He just was. He was in jail. He knows how to get by.
Yeah,
is what he
yeah,
was
yeah.
doing.
Oh my God.
And so
I have to go to the bathroom
Go
so
ahead.
bad. I broke the seal earlier.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
No,
So-
man. Dang it.
Sorry, you got the playback.
Like pause.
You
Like
got the
DVR.
playback.
You got the playback.
Good Lord.
so he's in there and he's giving me the rules. And he's like, "This your first time?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he's like, "What you in here for?" And I was like, "Oh, DUI." And I told like I was truthful about it. I wasn't bullshitting. Did whatever it is. He's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Yeah, I be like that." And he goes on about his business. Door closes. He's like, "Man, you got lucky, man. We just got done with a 72-hour lockdown. This is the first time the door's been open for a minute." So that's probably what was taking so long to get me up in there. Because they was on a lockdown because they was fighting. And I was like, "Oh, who was fighting?" You know, there's just a big brawl. I was like, of course there was. Is there going to be any retaliation now that these doors are back open? Should I be...
Nah, some people, they'd be happy to be out there.
Right. That's why I'm like, all right, maybe it'll be calmed down and, you know, whatever. So I got to go out there. And, you know, me, like I was saying, like, I don't do well sitting down. They was sitting there watching the Padres.
Side note, it's always one motherfucker that be like, I don't give a fuck they lock us down. You like, and everybody, 80% of y'all like, dude, chill.
So they just sitting there watching the Padres, and I'm doing what do I always do at lunchtime?
You walk.
I walk, right?
Oh, yeah, you tripping.
So I just start walking in circles around the perimeter because I'm like, I can't sit still. I definitely don't want to watch a Padre game. TV ain't that important to me. And I'm just kind of peeping the scene. I'm walking around, seeing where the showers is at, seeing what people doing, trying to see the numbers. And it looked like we was up.
All right, there you go.
So I was like, all right.
You protected.
So then we go in. And this is how I found out that this was like the pod boss and he was running shit. Because once the door closed and then the other people got their day room time, it was fucking active. Because we had our little mail slot thing open and everybody's coming to the door. They passing notes. They fucking congregating. They setting up. They politicking. Everything. Within 28 minutes, we had drugs in the cell. And I'm like, all right. And he's fucking excited. He's like, oh shit, like he ain't got to do a bump in a long time. And then he gets one of the Mexican dudes, he comes over, he's like, yeah, he's getting out. Do you want his shit? And he's like, oh yeah. And the white dude was like, he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do with it. And the white dude's like, yo, I can get you 50 on a commissary for that. Let me handle it. And all I need, just give me a little bump and that'll be like my tip, my gratuity. And I was like, all right. And I'm just sitting, I'm just laid back. Like, let me shut the fuck up. I ain't doing whatever. They getting that done. They had me playing lookout because lo and behold, they was also making the Pruno in there.
Oh shit! Look, that was a given based off everything
Because
else.
it started stinking. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, oh shit. And so he pulls this shit out. I'm like, oh goddamn. I was like, I'm gonna get more charges before I get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And so me playing lookout, this is what. Am I snitching if I'm giving it up?
Not really, because we don't know the time you went to jail.
No, if I'm talking about how I was playing lookout.
Not really snitching.
Anyway, I'm a civilian.
Yeah.
They had me rubbing toothpaste over the door frames, and that kind of blocks the smell from coming out because they was coming. One dude came to the door. He's like, "Yo, that shit coming out." He's like, "Hey, go here." And so I'm sitting here like the shit is like hocus pocus or whatever.
Well, you was putting cock in there.
I was,
right?
yeah.
Real East County.
I was over here. I got such an expedited experience by being in these people's cells.
No, that's new shit.
Everything was coming at me real quick because within the first couple hours, I was doing accounting. I was helping out. I was writing kites.
You had a job?
Yeah, they was putting me to work. And on one hand, I was like, man, I ain't trying to be like no bitch. Like,
wait, so you was counting like oatmeal cookies and shit?
No. Well, they had.
I can't be cash, right?
They had their store. They had their store, but then they were sitting there. They were passing notes, and so he had me reading one, and I was like, I know you can read because I just got here. There ain't no way you got this far in this little system and you can't read. But he wanted me to write down the responses.
Is this the pod leader?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm writing his response letter.
Oh, you're the personal assistant of the pod leader? Is that where I'm at?
It was real quick.
Okay, got it. I'm back in.
So I'm dictating this letter, and I had to stop. I was like, "Do you want me to write it exactly how you saying it, or how it's supposed to sound?
You
How
want
it's
me
supposed
to
to
edit
be?"
this?
And he's like, "Nah, exactly how I'm saying it." Because the way he was talking was kind of crazy. He's like, "Yo, I got mad love for you," and all that. I'm like, it seems like a waste of a few lines, but all right, let me just give me a minute. My writing ain't great. Like I'm a typer.
You're an editor in chief.
Like my handwriting is poor. But I'm writing this and that, and then they got the drugs off. They got the commissary popping. Everything was good.
Wait, what did I miss?
The Pruno
Is he part of the organization?
Yeah, I got.
You got recruited?
I started moving up quick.
They Marty Bird him.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. I was like,
Commissary drugs.
I was Marty Bird real quick.
They Marty Bird him.
And so
He's on Ozark.
So after
You just
all,
got it out.
so
How many hours have you been?
It's like a day and a half. Day and a half.
no.
He's
Once I got
Breaking
once I got to them, that was all in the first hour. I took that shit moved real quick. No, because I was outside I was in the day room part. This is all within the first 2.5, 3 hours.
How did they decide that you were like trustworthy or
Well,
with the
I
shit?
think they were giving me shit to do to really like, okay, like this first time, like the way he's moving, they were like giving me, because at a certain point they stopped. They made me work out with them.
What do you mean
doing
made
burpees?
you?
You
Like
doing
they
burpees?
He
invited
was
Did
like,
you?
they were like, yo, get naked. I was like, huh?
Whoa.
Huh? He's like, well, you don't want to get your shit sweaty when we working out. I was like, oh.
That actually
Yo.
makes sense.
I was like, you telling me to work out.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Did you put other clothes on? Or you
No,
worked
we were
out
just in our drawers.
Oh, got it.
Doing burpees.
Yeah. A lot of them too.
Oh, this isn't like we're not outside at the yard.
No,
like,
we
he's
are
like,
in-
oh yeah, it's
we are
2
in-
o'clock.
We
It's
are
time
in
to get our workout.
We are in an 8x8 cell with 3 people.
There's an itinerary.
They
Yeah.
need you strong. You sure you don't watch Game of Thrones?
And I'm sitting here, but so they're breaking it down because
He would make it.
Yeah.
they're telling me, they're like, hey, he's like, like, if some shit pop off, you gotta fight. And I'm like, well, yes, I'm not gonna let nobody like punk me. He's like, no, that's not what I mean. He's like, you see this? You see any of this out there fighting? You gotta go help.
Oh.
And I was like, all right. I was like, yeah. He's like, because if you don't help, then we beat you. And I was like, fair. And then he's like, yeah, we do this and that. So
you
we
can't have the blacks and the whites hating you. Look at the Game of Thrones right here.
And he's sitting there and he's like, because I was like, oh man, it's gonna be rough. Because like normally I don't really congregate with white people like that.
We know.
But then so I'm sitting there, I was like, yo, like, but y'all seem cool. He's like, yeah, we work together, we cool. He's like, the big beef, at least what they were telling me in that specific part, was whites and blacks. Whites and Mexicans can work together, but they still don't like each other.
But they will unite against the blacks together.
I don't know if they would. They're not going to help. If the Mexicans are fighting the blacks, they're not going to help.
But isn't your pod leader Latino?
No, he's white.
Oh,
the Mexican
This
dude
is
was in there
real
too.
Game of Thrones. You can't
He's
just
a.
jump in. I'm trying to
What
tell you.
family?
This is the
House of Dragon.
This is the UN.
He was probably the head Mexican because he was a trustee. But they were in the same. They were running shit together within their specific things. But they will not work with black people. They'll work for the greater good of themselves to be selfish. But they also will fight each other. And if one of them is fighting the blacks, they're not going to help. They're gonna be like, all right, y'all fight each other. We're going to kick back.
But
So
they
he's like-
kind of have a truce as well.
It's not a. The thing is if there's a Mexican and white fight, we do have to throw down with each other.
Oh.
And I'm like, all right.
So not a truce to that.
He's like,
trouble.
yeah. So right now he's probably a little nervous because you're in here too. So if it was an inner cell type of thing, he'd probably get beat down. And I'm like, all right. And
Politics.
yeah, I'm soaking it up. I'm just like,
Are you? Let's pause real quick. How are you? Like,
how are you
Yeah,
feeling?
right, like, hold on. We're
think you had
hearing.
time for that.
We're hearing the motions. Yeah, that's
I
true.
had no time for
Were
no
you
feeling.
just on survival? Were you just like?
I'm going through the motions. I'm in survival mode.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about outside of me, because when I had time to myself, all I thought about was the image my kids saw.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's all I thought. But then once I got in there, that shit was compartmentalized pretty quick. Because
the priority level.
mind you, a whole day and some change go by, I have not touched the phone yet. And so I'm like, damn, I need to call somebody. I finally get out there, I go to the phone, I see a real phone check happen. I'm like, okay, that's how I understand it. But it wasn't me. The phone system was fucked up. When I finally get to it, my little pin wasn't working. And I'm like, yo, how do I get my pin? And they're like, oh, the CO got to do it. I went to the CO. He's like, I ain't doing that shit. You better wait till shift change. I'm like, dog, shift change. When's that gonna happen? I don't know. Like, how you not know? Ain't that when you get off? He's being a dick.
Yeah.
And then so he left. And then finally, I guess I had done enough work to where he's like, hey, since we get more privileges, if you want an extra tray or you want to shower by yourself or whatever, or you can use my phone pin if you want to, since your shit ain't set up after we do dinner or whatever.
This is leader.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, at least I didn't want to climb too high. I didn't want a whole bunch of responsibilities. Just keep me back here in the administrative. Let me do my burpees.
You about to be his bottom bitch. His right hand man.
I'm not being sent out here doing some
He
shit.
said, keep me in the administrative office. I don't want to do no field work.
I was
I'm not trying to put in no work like that,
with the paperwork. I'm not trying to be
I
out
don't wanna do
there.
no field work. It's crazy. Go ahead. In jail, too. Go ahead. Keep going.
yo. So
Look, this is why I tell people it's a great place to visit. I do not ever want to live there, though.
So I
Never.
come back in, and we're on lockdown again, and they just start trading stories, war stories about shit they did on the outside. I was like, I didn't want to say what I was really thinking. Like, man, you're really bad. Like, I mean, like you get caught a lot, a lot. But he was doing whatever, and then they start talking about some other shit. He's like, yeah, in whatever cell, like that's going down, and they're plotting like when it's going to happen. They're gonna get somebody.
Oh.
And basically, they had this mapped out like, okay, the last walkthrough's at 9:30. The camera's going to follow the CO. As soon as he gets to that corner, boom, we're going to do it right then and
They
there.
were planning a hit.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And so he said, and they're talking about it, and then they notice, I don't know, I wasn't being nosy, but you're always like, it's 8x8 cell. I'm just down here like, and he's like, let me. Basically, he stopped. He's like, oh, for some context for the listeners, he's like, yeah, we giving this dude a hard 39, and I was like, cool.
Did you know what that was?
I didn't know what that was.
You know what it is now.
Yes. So he explains it, right? He's like, so what happens is, he's like,
Did you tell him you didn't know what it was?
yes.
Confidently.
Yes. I'm like, hey, that sounds like y'all business. If y'all need me to know, let me know.
Hey, I was like, I don't need to be in there.
No, literally.
He didn't want to know.
I didn't want to be no accessory, man.
I'm reading this magazine. I didn't
Whatever
hear
they was
anything.
whatever they was plotting sounded like a charge.
Jailhouse Blues, baby.
So he's like, so what happens is, like, obviously we all got our things, right? He's Mexican.
Okay.
And when Mexicans have an issue, basically, and they got to like fight it out with each other, they do, well, their number is 13 because that's like the Mexican number. So they got to like duke it out for 13 seconds straight, whatever. So if it's a 39, that means he really did some fuck shit.
13 times 3.
Right.
So 39
So basically,
seconds.
and they were talking about, I was like, man, the dude they're describing sounds mighty familiar. The dude that was talking too much, he talked about the DV charge. And the thing about jail is they don't care about details. They see the charge. They don't play with kids. They don't play with domestic violence, shit like that.
There's like a moral of ethics among prisoners.
I didn't know DV was added in that.
Me neither. Because
I didn't know.
I'm like, most of these niggas are beating bitches' asses.
But here's the thing. The thing is, he might have said some other shit, and I just didn't. Or maybe they were just like the way he described it, because
they got a little more detail.
the way he got it, because he got a little bit off to me, and I was like, man, it sounds like you. I don't know why you called the cops. Like, sounds like you should have chilled the fuck out.
You can't even not tell a motherfucker your charge either. They ask you for a reason.
Yeah,
you have to tell them.
Like your pedigree.
Exactly.
And they gonna get it.
Let me get to that.
So
They're talking about it, right? And then so they're like, yeah, so, he's doing that. I guess he was beating his girl. We don't like that.
Were you like, yeah, I was with him, or were you just...
No, how the fuck would I do that? I don't know that dude. Fuck him. I don't know him. That wasn't my friend.
He reverted back right now. I was just in the holding cell with him. If y'all, shit, we go ahead and give him a hard, what is it, 52.
I didn't give him that information.
I'm not even putting hard 39 as a thing. I don't want to know. Yeah.
That'd be the title. No,
no,
can't get
no hard 39s over here. Go ahead.
So they said, I said, dang, that's crazy. That's all I gave him. And he's like, yeah. So yeah, by the way.
Oh no.
I didn't like the way the by the way sounded.
You have to do something.
He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I shouldn't be telling you this. And I was like, damn, that means it involves me in some sort of official way, and I don't like that. He's like, oh, because he was breaking it down. He's like, yeah, Mexican 13. I forgot what he said the black dudes was, but the white dudes is 23 because it's a W.
Wait, so after they fight for this amount of seconds, and then whoever's wins is the winner, and then it's over?
Well, your race is beating up on your own race, so it's not like a thing. No, you just take it and it's done.
You just fight.
Oh, this is the Mexican dude.
I don't understand. What's the point of the fighting?
No, they're both telling me this, but they're just talking about what's going to happen later
with
today. And the dude upstairs.
With the Mexicans.
Yeah.
I know, but what is it's a race on race fight, right?
Yeah.
The same
when
race.
I say Mexicans,
but what is the point? Is there to...
That sounds crazy with the Mexicans, right? I'm in there.
I'm in a movie right now. I want to understand. So
that's the only reason why I'm letting you rock too.
Why this is fascinating. Why? What is the point? It's just if somebody wins, that's the one who's right.
No, it's not. No, it's not about who's right.
You just have
you're
to get your
gonna
ass.
win.
Oh, you're
not
gonna
supposed
get
to
your
win.
This is not
okay.
This
if you win,
this isn't a fight. This is an ass beating.
This is not a one-on-one fade.
Oh, you're being set up to get your ass beat as a consequence for whatever it is, and the seconds is
because they don't like the charge.
Okay, all right, thank you, everyone. Gotta make
no,
sure we understand.
Absolutely.
So he's like, I shouldn't be giving you this, but he's like, I kind of rock with you a little bit, but you gonna get a hard 23. And I was like,
why?
So I'm sitting here, I was like, wait. He's like, here's the thing, right? I believe your little story about your charge, but that don't matter because child endangerment is child endangerment, right?
Shit.
He's like, child endangerment could be you had a gun in the house and the kid was asleep in the room, not in harm's way. You didn't do nothing wrong, but it's gonna be challenging that they get their ass whooped too. It don't like I believe everything you said, like, but it don't matter. And I'm like, all right.
Or he's saying that you're on the spectrum.
He's mentally
but
preparing
because
him.
you're on the spectrum. It don't matter because you could be like.
There's no spectrum. It's black or white. You have a child charge, you getting your
You're
ass
getting your
whooped.
ass beat.
That's fair.
And he's getting
That's basically what I said.
Honestly.
And their way of saying, I was like, that's fair.
I'm
I was
gonna
like,
take
hey,
it up the chin.
I don't expect you to be able to change jail politics that have gone on for however long. I'm just like, hey, all right, cool.
I kind of
If anything,
respect
No,
the...
but he's like the thing that the respect I'm giving you is the heads up because that dude's not gonna get no heads up. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, damn, like one of the things, like I gotta get to 23. It's like 23.
Right.
The longest 23 seconds of your life.
And so I'm sitting, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, you tall too, so I'm only gonna put 2 in there. I was like, fuck, he thought of everything. Because he had to set it up. Because he's like,
I was just gonna say, he's setting it up.
Normally they do
Give
three.
me one.
They do 3 on 1. But because he told me that, I was like, all right, cool. The first thing I said was like, cool, my wingspan, I can just take up space. But he like caught it, and he's like, I'm only gonna do 2 because you got too much of a wingspan. I was like, fuck. So I'm like, damn.
Are you allowed to fight back?
I was like, hey, is this like a no hitting in the face, no kicking? Is this all squabbles?
He's trying to find the fucking
I'm trying
dodgeball
to find
rules.
something, bro.
No
like,
face
What are the
shots.
rules of engagement?
I was like, I was like, do I gotta take? He's like, no. He's like, you better fight back.
Oh.
I was like, cool.
Oh, okay.
So what if I win? Because I want to know if I really lose if I win.
I didn't ask that because I was just like, all right, I can fight back.
You can
whatever.
defend yourself a little bit.
So fast forward.
I would have been terrified from that point on. Like, how
Fast
many
forward,
hours
we
until I get my ass whooped?
We do dinner.
What day is this?
This is
Sunday. Had to been Sunday.
This is
yeah.
Sunday.
'Cause I remember when you called
Sunday
me, yeah,
evening.
yeah.
Are you sitting with your crew at dinner? Your pod crew?
No, I sat in the cell. No, I got that because I didn't eat whatever. I got the tray while they were cleaning up. They gave me like a fresher. It was like chicken fried steak.
Did you eat it?
I was, at that point I was like, I'm starving.
Was it bomb? Or not
No.
bomb?
No,
was it decent?
no.
Not bomb.
Nah,
But I ate,
It's bologna
and if I was
with-
like, I think I'm
with
gonna
fries.
need some sort of fuel. I'm gonna need some sort of fuel
You're
tonight.
thinking of a 12-ounce porterhouse.
I was like, it was
This
school
shit is
cafeteria
paper
food.
thin with flakes on it. They said
Yeah.
chicken
I know,
fried steak.
nostalgic. It's like elementary school cafeteria.
You got a rubber knife. You got to be able to cut it with that fucking knife. Keep going.
Microplastic and all.
I'm taking an Uber. For real.
Moral of the story, people.
Hey,
Take
yeah,
an
for real.
Uber.
So we go out, and I'm just walking around again. And this one, I came in contact with a couple real random characters. Like one dude was following me, talking about he was praying for me, not because of what was about to happen, just in general. Yeah. I was like, this dude looked like he do not belong in jail. Like they gonna eat his ass alive.
Aww.
He just looked like he didn't have a friend in the world, and he was just trying to. And I was like, hey man, he's slowing down my walking pace, and I still got to get these steps in, whether I got my watch on or not. And he just like, okay, well, I'm praying for you. Oh. I was like, cool, man. I can't act like the outside with you. I can't be too nice. Back the fuck up.
Yeah, he's a hardened criminal by
so
now.
Anyway,
You got to adjust.
so all I hear is
You got an ass whooping coming. That changed your whole day.
all I.
Changed your whole fucking day.
Hey, you just at school looking at 3
Get
o'clock,
the fuck away from me!
trying to go to the nurse's
This is
office.
amazing how you get back to your primal instincts. But go ahead.
So all I hear is,
You ain't
yo,
worry about no election. I'm the worst. Go ahead, keep going. It's
all I
good.
heard was, yo. And I seen it. This one dude I ain't congregate with all, but he was looking at me like he knew me. He gave me the heads up. Hey, let me show you something real quick. I said,
Was he white?
yeah.
Yeah, it's his people. It's his people.
The wood?
Yeah, man. So I walk in there and I'm like, whew. 2 dudes in there, and the dude that called me over, he steps in front like he's the lookout. And there ain't no. I was like, is this one Mississippi? Like, who's counting the 23? Right?
Did you ask that?
No, I didn't. I wasn't. I wasn't
Oh,
trying to be.
you thought this was the ass whipping cue.
It was.
No, it was.
Oh.
No, that was. It
Oh,
was.
how did I wasn't there? I didn't follow that train.
What he
How
said
did
is
you
they
know?
He said, "Let me show you something."
said, "Let me show you
because
something."
I don't know who the fuck that is.
got it.
I ain't looked at him dead at all. I walk in the cell.
So
There's 2
my
people
dumbass
in there.
would've
Wait,
been-
so they whipped your ass on the full stomach?
I wouldn't call my stomach full.
All right, but after mealtime,
I had a couple bites of
if
food.
there was a time to do like, hey, after we eat, we gotta get some sustenance.
It was.
He got a tall wingspan. We need about another 100 calories.
So
Gotta pump up before that
wild.
workout.
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right. So he gives like the nod, and then we square up.
Oh my.
And I think for like 10 to 11 seconds, I held my own, right? I got a couple good shots in. I was happy with myself.
You really got whipped on the plantation. Keep going, though. It's cool.
You got
Go
some
ahead.
licks in.
I got caught with like a mean one. Like I feel like I had some inner bleeding
That's
in my
right on the
pancreas.
litter, huh? Yeah, right
And so I
there.
went, and at that point, I was like, I just gotta start blocking my face.
Yeah, survival mode.
And so I curled up, and I just like good like 10 seconds of just
Damn.
boom, boom, boom.
Were you standing at least, or you were on the ground?
When they got me right, once I went down the block, I went down.
And so you were like yeah, on the ground protecting
Yeah, I was fetal
yourself.
position.
Were they kicking you?
It hurt. It hurt.
Oh man.
Yeah, my ribs are all fucking bruised up. That
Oh
shit was
my
crazy.
God.
I got out, I was like, no.
Oh,
So I take the ass whooping. Somebody said respect. I got up because one dude walked off, and I caught him with a mean one, like right up under the breastplate.
he just left you.
And they got out, and I was like, cool. Because they were just like, yeah, if you don't fight back, they're going to look at you like a bitch. And whatever. I go in. My face didn't get touched, which is what I cared about. It was just pretty much all ribs. But body shots hurt.
Yeah.
So I go back in. You know, they dap me up. And that was like kind of like the end of like, okay, you did your consequences. So now he's trying to give me like the extra privilege. Hey, you want a solo shower or whatever? Do this and that. So I go
They're
handle.
grooming you.
I go handle my shower. They was in there for like 3-4 months. Like, I'm leaving soon.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it
I
is
would
right
want to
now.
leave before my ass whooping.
Well, yeah, but at that point, I don't know what time it is. I just know it'd been a day because breakfast had happened. We just had dinner, so I'm
They're
assuming.
not like, nobody's giving you an update on like a court date,
No, well, they had told me. No, they had told me before that my court date would have been that Wednesday. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking 10% of 100. Like I gotta stay until Wednesday.
Yeah.
10 grand. Ooh,
Would
no,
you
no,
have
no.
asked if you were able? I know you had some issues using the phone, but if you had gotten able to use the phone immediately, would you have asked someone to bail you out?
No,
Or you would have just stayed.
because after the ass whooping, once I got back to the cell, I was like, the storm was kind of over. It was about to be smooth sailing. And so we're on lockdown, and he's talking about, he's like, oh yeah. He's like, damn, you got 100? He's like, it's all good. Like, the way you are, the way you, like, your profile and everything, you can get somebody to do that for $1,500. Because you ain't no flight risk, and you got a family and shit, and you got, like, good job. He's like, you can negotiate with these people. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, $1,500. He's giving me some numbers. I'm like, cool, I can do $1,500.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about like some other shit that's going down, and like the tensity kind of dropped a little bit. And I felt a lot more comfortable, not in a way of like, oh, I'm a criminal now, but more of like, oh, I'm cool. As soon as that left, all of a sudden, hey, yo, you getting out? And then I got paranoid. Ooh, I know somebody didn't drop no 10 grand on me. I know they didn't. And you know what? Because I know nobody did. I know it's my 10 grand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that what it was?
And at the point of where I was in my life, I ain't got no 10 grand. No. Leave me in here. Hey, the way it's about to go after this, I can do Wednesday.
Get a
I
refund.
can do Wednesday.
Get a
Boy,
refund.
stupid.
And so he says, yeah, you getting out? And I'm like, dang, cool. All right, well.
Good knowing you.
He's like, I got to go upstairs. I'll be back in like 30 minutes.
this is who, the CO?
This is the CO.
Okay.
So he comes back like 50 minutes later, and he's like, oh, no, we're not leaving yet. He pulls me out in the middle of everybody. He gives me a swab. I go back in. He's like, oh, congrats. Everybody knows you a felon now. They only do the swabs to felons. And he pulled you out in the middle to show everybody. I was
Why?
like, I don't know. I didn't ask no questions. I'm getting out. I'm not coming back. And so he's like, yeah, I got to go get somebody else from upstairs. I'll be back. That was like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I had my shit rolled up. And he's like, oh, I'm glad you had it rolled up, but I got to make another pit stop. I'll be back again. So by the time he told me you was getting out, it must have been another 4 or 5 hours.
Did your pod leader and your roomies know that you were getting out? What was
Yeah, because he says it
What was
into the thing.
How was their attitude? Were they like, good luck?
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, man, don't come back. Like, you good. Like, it is what it is. So I finally leave, and they pull me out with like 2-3 other people. They put us in a holding cell because we don't got the priority. I guess the elevators is broke. There's only one working, and they had to like get everybody else up and down. So they got us in this holding cell, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucking sick of this. So I just kind of stand at the door looking out the window. And then I hear something, and I hear some mumbling. And then it started sounding rhythmic. And I was like, is somebody rapping? I turn around. This dude's got his notepad out, and I'm like, oh, he's rapping. So I just turn around, mind my business. I'm looking out the window, waiting for CO to come back. It must have been another minute. All I hear is, hey, y'all want to hear something real quick? Oh, no.
It's always something, huh?
I turn around. He goes on for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Was it a good flow?
No, it wasn't.
He hates San Diego rap.
He was like 50 years old, right?
Oh,
and
shit.
then
He didn't have a few bars?
Here's the thing. He stopped. He did not look up for no, like, what'd you think? He didn't look for no feedback. He just put it down and leaned against the wall. And I was like, hey, all right.
It was over as soon as it began?
He just needed to get it out. He didn't care about nobody's feedback or nothing.
That's funny.
I respect that.
So we waited like half an hour.
I don't know anything about that. I don't even know what's happening, but go ahead. I don't know what's happening.
We go back downstairs. We go back to this cold ass room to where I can get my clothes. Now, mind you, I was coming from the beach when I got locked up. So they put me in this freezing ass shit. I ain't had no socks. I had a wife beater on. Like, I was fucking freezing. And I hadn't really been eating. I ain't got no protein in me, so it's colder. And I'm just like, yo, get me out of here. And then they take me to another holding cell, and there's like a bunch of people in there. And I heard him saying somebody, oh, you got to wait till 5:30 to let you out. And I'm looking up, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Do they have clocks over? Like,
where I'm walking at now, they do. I'm like, why the fuck y'all pull me out? If I got to wait till 5:30 in this, I was in a warmer sit. Like, it didn't make no sense. Apparently, he was just talking to this one person. I was in there for a good hour. And then they finally go up and they give you your property back. And I had a real glimmer of hope that I didn't pay no 10 grand, right? Because people are going up. There's a lot of people in there for DUIs. And I forgot what term they said, but it's this specific law where they let you out with no bail. They just let you go. You got to show up to your court date and everything. But because it's just like a simple drunk take shit, you're good. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe that's me. But then, my felony charge, you can't do that with a felony charge. So they told me, yeah, you posted bail, blah, blah, blah. They gave me my shit. I leave.
What, like,
I go out there.
Does someone pick you up? What do you mean? You walk out the front door? Somebody's
Yeah, I walk
there?
out the door. Kid's mom was there. And, she hugged me. She was super happy to see me. And it's like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And she's like, apparently she bailed me out at like 10 a.m. the day before.
Yeah.
That's how long it took.
Yeah. They take their sweet ass time.
And she was in there, and we just get in the car. And she's like, she was more scared than I was.
Were you guys together or
No,
separated?
We were
at
separated at the time.
And she still came through.
Yeah, she came. But the thing is, I know that.
Yeah.
Now, to a lot of my peoples, they didn't think that was the case, but like, yeah, she was.
They thought she would have let your ass.
She
in
was
there.
riding hard for you when you went in there, and I'm like, I mean, that didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But I was like, dang, you really put 10 grand on that?
Yo, where did you do these
my
funds
10
You gotta know
grand.
him.
She's like, no,
You gotta know him.
I got somebody to do it for 5%. I was like, that's still fine. I had 1,500 on the line.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, I'm out, whatever. I'll figure it out. Like,
5 is a lot better than
because
10.
at that point, financially, it was not a good spot for me. So losing 5, well, it ended up being like 6,500. That was a hit. And yeah, I got home and I was at work a couple hours later.
That's crazy.
And she was just like, you didn't call me. I was like, yeah, like I couldn't get to the phone. And she's like, I was just so worried. Like, I didn't want you to get fired from your job, and you were gonna be AWOL. So I was like, I didn't know what to do. She was so paranoid. I was like, you didn't do nothing wrong. Like, chill. But yeah.
What day did you go to work? Like Tuesday, Wednesday?
Tuesday.
So you missed Monday. So she called and was
He
like,
got out Monday.
He's sick.
No, it was Monday morning.
Oh, that's right.
I was there for 36 hours.
Yeah,
so you went to work Monday morning.
I went to work Monday morning.
He called me around 12 o'clock and was like, I just got out.
Did you know he
See,
was
the other
in?
end of the story.
Well, I was at work that first half of the day.
Yeah, we gotta get your, like, the flip side.
I guess based on where we're at in the story and how much we're indulging, right? I get a call Sunday. We had a guest, luckily, that Sunday, right? One of our guests came through. I want to say it was my guy from the other podcast. Mike came through. And so when I got the call, it was like, oh, Lex overslept. Right? Now, two things you know about
Lex. This is when we were going at 8 in the morning.
He saves money and he doesn't oversleep, right? There's never been a time where I've talked to him and I told my wife, I said, you know what? I said, that ain't true. And I said, I'll figure it out by Monday.
But that was the heads up you got from his...
I had an inkling of what happened, right? Because I've had to look for people before.
Yeah.
So people didn't say like he was in a hospital, right? I've checked hospitals for people, right? So I was like, you know what? 10% of me was like, he probably went to jail.
Yeah.
Right? And when he called me, he said, I just got out. I wasn't surprised because 10% of me said he probably went to jail.
Yeah.
And so at that point, we kind of, ran through the story and everything. I don't want to overshadow that piece because there's one thing that he's neglecting to tell y'all too, is that he's 6 months sober. Right?
Oh, I was getting there.
And I know you was gonna tell us all the other shit first, but the most important thing is that my man is sober.
Yes,
he's been doing well. We were checking on him a lot more often a couple of months ago, but I think that the level of checking in that we were doing was kind of impeding on him. As an adult, right? So like as an adult, I'd be like, yo, if he needs something from us, he knows that he can ask us, you know what I mean? Or if we need a conversation.
Oh, we'll get to that part eventually, too.
Yeah. Well, this is a very long-winded story. But, I mean, what I'm saying is that, all those things that happened led him to who he is today, which is why, like, the hard part is for me, right, given knowing that information and knowing about, like, him struggling with sobriety and everything. We've had people come in, we got alcohol on the table, right? Or I'll pop one open, not thinking about it because I don't really drink like that. But when I do, right, it's usually like before we come in pod or something, just because I'm relaxing on a Sunday or something like that. But I had to be like cognizant of, how I am around him and activities that we invite him to. He'll say, oh, I don't want you to think about that. I was like, nah, we're going to think about that because at the same time, for us, it's a level of support.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think that, it's important to highlight that like it's been a group effort, right? And his number one thing is, and I mean, it wasn't on my list. It wasn't like, yo, I got to treat him different or whatever. It was more so like, yo, man, like how much can I keep shit as normal as possible for him, right? Without like my reaction or our reaction to people like in our circles making it a trigger for him. You know what I mean? Versus like, yo, man, he's still a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that my line of work and what I do, right, it helps normalize that because I know at any given time that can happen to any of us.
No, literally.
Right? It could have happened to me plenty of times. You know what I mean? Like being honest, what he's saying, there was a time where I would go over Lex's house and I get shit-faced and, come home. Shit, my wife, we've been in this house when we lived here with my mom's. I tossed her right there on that floor. And I'm like, damn, she didn't have a drink. I didn't have a drink. Luckily, he lived down the street. But I'm driving with my kids in the car.
Right. That, it'd be dumb to say that was like, oh, this was like a freak thing. Like, that wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
It was just like,
And that's the thing. Like, for me, it hit me. I was like, yo, I got to change. Some dudes hit me, not some dudes, but a good friend of mine hit me up on Friday and was like, I don't normally see you. And I'm like, bro, what's funny? Like, I feel like we all hit a crossroads where it's like, yo, you can either do the right thing or you can do the wrong thing. And if you did the wrong thing, doesn't mean you can't do the right thing. Right? And for me, it was like the wrongs that I had caused in my life caught me to be like, you know what? I can't deviate to that path. Let me be the person that I'm supposed to be. I felt like my dad had that same crossroads, right? And I felt like he did. What's beautiful about him telling that story is I didn't know how much he was going to get into detail today. But I saw Lex's Instagram, and and my wife was talking to me about it. How she had sent him a message like in DM and everything the other day, asking if like, oh, he's so. She was talking about Zeke. Oh, he's so big, he ain't lose, and he like, nah, they lost anyway. And then you got Zeke running and G pushing. I was like, damn. The cool thing is that type of shit, he was always outside, but now he's creating memories with his kids, whether they're grateful or not, because kids aren't going to be grateful. It's hindsight. But he's creating these memories, and he caught it at the right time, and all he has to do is keep maintaining it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was the beauty of it.
Well, I mean, those types of Instagram stories that I was doing, I was never not there doing that type of shit for my
but
kid.
you're at a capacity now. You're doing way more now.
Well, yeah, it's not that I'm doing way more. I think I'm just a lot more present while I'm doing it. Right? And to tie up the end of the jail story, the thing, I would rather over worry and it not be a thing than not worry and then be hit by something else. The thing I cared about most while I was inside ended up not being a thing. The kids were so distracted by the other police and their tablets, they had no idea where I was at. And so once I got that, this big ass weight left my shoulders. And because there was so much going on, like the airbags coming out and like the quote unquote crash, like they were unfazed. They didn't realize what happened. They're just like, what? Like, damn, that's crazy. And then once I got out there on their tablets and then the cops came or whatever, and then... So
you were relieved because you felt...
I was relieved because my kids don't have that image.
That traumatic experience.
And then when they're just like, where'd Dad go? And then she's like, oh, he stayed back to help clean up the pieces of the car. And for that long, like it was a lot of little pieces. And it's something that, I've talked to my therapist about, like, how much do I share about that? And she just like, well, don't give them details like that, but basically use it as an opportunity to let them know, like, you're not perfect, that adults have consequences too. And, especially right now, because I'm not driving, right? And, I mean, they're more used to it now, but it's like, they're like, oh, this is weird. Why can't you just drive? Why are we waiting on this? Why are we doing that? Like, why can't you come get us? Why can't we go here? And, it's just like, hey, I've made some mistakes, and like when you guys make mistakes and I make you guys do push-ups or whatever the consequence is, I got my own consequences got to do. I don't think it really clicks for them yet, but the fact that they don't know, like they didn't get to see me, because at this point, I'm still like on a pedestal for them. And even though I try to put myself off of it by humanizing myself, I didn't want it to be like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't have it was like, all right, cool. Whatever I got to deal with, whatever comes to me, cool, whatever. That's not one of them.
Yeah.
And then, so that's all I cared about.
Yeah. Well, I think I think whenever we go through something where we're facing a consequence or we're having a real life moment in front of our kids, that's for me, whenever I have a meltdown or something like that happens, like when you come down from it all, the first thing is like, okay, did I fuck up the kids? Right? Right. How much did I just traumatize my children? Like, how many years of therapy? So I think that it's a blessing that your children were shielded a little bit and distracted from the real true intensity and the trauma that could have come from that. What I want to say is, after you sharing so much, thank you for being vulnerable and not only sharing with me and Carl, but all of the listeners, because it's not easy to tell stories like this, and what I really took away, as I was listening to Carl, is I got a baby DUI when I was 19, wet and reckless. I went to a party in Julian. I remember coming home being sloshed. I remember dropping my keys and falling in the mud and having to pull over at some random inconvenience store in Julian because I was lost. And when I got that DUI, I was devastated at first, right? I was disappointed in myself. I was frustrated, and I was 19. I received a lot of judgment a lot of like, looked down on. And I remember being frustrated at the time because I was like, you motherfuckers drive just as drunk as I do on a more regular basis, or like, trying to compare. And I didn't feel any like, in that point in my life, like understanding. It was a lot of like, well, you got caught, and everybody kind of turned a blind eye to their behaviors, which caused like for me frustration. And you're right, like I lost my license. I opted for community service hours. There's a lot of moving pieces that happen, and I had to get a restricted license. Like there's so many, and special type of insurance. There's so many things that go into it. But it was when I got into my classes, you have to take your like AAA classes, mandatory. Mine was on a smaller scale. It was only for a few months, but for me, those classes really changed the way that I looked at drinking and driving. For me, like, it was less of like, oh, well, my friends always did it and I wasn't that drunk, or blah, 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 blah. Like, and it was like, oh, this is a really selfish decision. And, and for Lex, like, you were fighting an addiction. And so I don't want to like, I'm not shaming Lex, but for me, what I had in this moment as a young person who was drinking and driving, going out to partying, or going and having a few drinks and then getting in the car and driving. And once I took these classes, was like, I'm only thinking about myself and my needs and my wants. And so that was a very like pivotal moment for me. But I think that like for me, like what stands is that like there are still a lot of times where I know a lot of my friends that, we're at the barbecue, we're at the kickback, we're around the pool, we're at the beach, and, people are drinking and they're knocking them back, and we have the kids and we're driving home. And I'm not here to shame people, but I want us to all stop and think, because it happens so quick. We're like, oh, it was a few hours ago, or I'm sober, I'm not at my mix, and I'm driving home, I got the kids in the car, I got the wife, whatever. And just like that, like Lex said, he wasn't even fucking, a random object fell off the, the ground. And that to me is almost like a miracle in disguise, a blessing in disguise, like that moment happened. And you were able, that, these incidents, I believe, probably led into your sobriety. But like the fact that,
it took a few more incidents.
Okay, to be, but it's the start of kind of looking at that self-reflection. And I just want to remind people that like things happen just like that. Things happen that we're not taking accountability for. I don't think I'm that drunk. I'm driving home. There's a freak accident. Now I have to blow and my alcohol level. So just taking a moment to like just being mindful and trying to make decisions that not only can affect us, our families, but the people around us as we get older. I feel like that's part of like being wise and having that wisdom and being like, okay, let me go ahead and make the inconvenient choice. But I'm really proud of you. I felt honored that you shared such intimate details. Like, I know we were laughing and joking, but like,
I try to bring an entertainment value to stuff like that, because otherwise I'm not going to share it.
Yeah, but with that being said, like, I want to honor you for being vulnerable, because these kind of things happen and people don't share them because they're scared of that scarlet letter. And for anybody who wants to get quick jump to like judging Lex, if that's where your mind was at after hearing this story, I just wanted to remind you to like look in the mirror, and to extend grace and like to celebrate where he's at now, and to appreciate the fact that he was willing to share this with the rest of us so we can continue to grow from it, learn from it, and move forward.
Let's clap it up for Lex, man. Come on, man.
Honestly.
Clap your hands.
Lex.
Clap for you.
But
I'm not done until you clap for you.
Let's be real, though.
Clap for you. I'm still clapping. Clap for you.
It's less about support. Most people just being no. They just what the fuck's going on, man?
Well, I mean, shit. And I don't think that the thing that we talked about before, that incident isn't a precursor as to why. However he shares it is however he shares it, if he wants to or not. But just for me personally, like, I know that people's, previous significant others involved, kids involved and shit like that is, normally that's not shit that I normally talk about. I don't advertise it. We didn't had a lot of, conversations, deep conversations, heart-to-hearts, the shit that you just won't hear from me, right? like for real. Like, as many times as we sat down and had conversations, with those conversations involved, it's none of your damn business unless he intends to share it. But that's the best I can do for you. You know what? Hit my hand claps, because I think that this kind of goes hand in hand. One of the things, and we ain't gonna run time in too long. We'll do a couple of seconds. One of the things that I had on there for random shit to fill in time was, what kind of friend do you think you are? And I wanted to also play a game with y'all, right? Like one, I want to know what you think of me first, and then I'm gonna tell you who I think I am, right? And that's like all of us, right? Because I thought about both of you guys in regards to how I regard my friendship in regards to you guys, but it might be completely different from what you think you offer. Which I think is a fun ass game to play, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, right, and it may not seem like that because I know what my answer is going to be. Tell me about me. With everything you just said, and I'll answer because I know as far as what, right, specifically, right?
You know me.
So with that being said, right, what kind of friend, right, over the span of years to now? Two words you would use to describe me as a friend.
You want me to
then I'm gonna go to you.
You want me to call you the fun friend?
You do that too. you can do that too. Yeah, that's cool. I've learned to live with that one.
It's an inside joke.
No, it is. I've learned to live with that one now, though. Keep going. Just one word. You don't have to do a sentence.
Oh, one word?
Yeah, one word.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
You said 2 words.
Well, no, two different things that you can think of with one word. So he's friendly, fun, outgoing,
reliable.
Okay, that's one.
Get on my motherfucking nerves.
Challenges me.
Oh, you just took mine.
There we go.
So many words in the dictionary out there.
If you got your 2 ready, let him piece it up.
Okay, I would say antagonizing.
Okay. All right.
But well intended.
Okay.
Those are my 2.
What I would think that
well intended is pretty solid.
You like that? Okay. He loves that one.
Well, no, because that covers a lot of bases to where even if you come off a certain way, that's the most important piece.
I think that if that is the case, then that will kind of go hand in hand, because I believe that I am patient, right? And when I say patient, I mean patient like long term, not for like small, minute shit, right? But I think that to be able to deal with someone such as yourself, because all the things that you're saying about me, it's about you too. It's in a different way though, right? It's in a different, because all the shit you're getting off right now, I'm like, damn, we've been through a lot when you go back and do the play-by-play, because in my mind, I'm like, yo, that shit happened in like November. August is like, oh, wait a minute, it was August, right? And I'm like, yo, like this whole time, right, it led us here, right? Part of my revelation of feeling better about school ending and all that was we were dealing with that shit too, like in the middle of it, right? And I was like, damn, I've been extreme, and I've been patient with, in that territory about what he's talking about, I had to take scrutiny, right? Because of my knowledge of things. But the hard part is that when somebody's going through something, your involvement, depending on what your circumstances are, it's very difficult. So I have to dictate how much of this can I, put my time to on top of everything else. And then how much is he willing to hear it, right? You're playing a balance game, right? So like one of the things that I think about myself is all the time, especially with different people that I have interactions with, is how patient I am, because there are people that walk around this earth that are quick to write people off. And I don't necessarily give a shit what anyone is. Well, let me, because some things I will, I side with the woods on, right? But there's certain things that what I'm saying is, when I say side with the woods, I'm saying like, yo, if you was messing with kids, or like if you was, you murdered
like
somebody.
A week ago I said in the group chat, there's a couple of them charges where I'm like, I'm okay with the death penalty on a couple of things.
Exactly. So it's like certain things, but it's like I don't care what you did to an extent to where it's like, yo, I still have to be patient with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for you, let's play you now. Okay.
But I wanna say that is patience is a great one. I would, if I had a third, I would have used that one.
Yeah, certain things it's like
that's a good one for
energy.
you.
It's like, yo, but I see where you said well intended, because like, yo, it's like it's not ill. Like none of my shit. Usually it's just you're getting the first reaction out of me for certain things.
Where well-intended covers the basis of poor delivery on occasion, but
has a good heart. So
right,
exactly.
So therefore, you can't. It's like, oh, I'm looking past that part because I know.
Yeah, and I only think that because of like
you mean
like tough
Jesus knows my heart, like that type of shit.
Yeah. But like that tough love, that's what I mean. We get that tough love from you, and it can come off a little. But
yeah, that's great.
We know
you're right. Though.
We know your heart. Like we know that you're generous, you're selfless. Like you're loving, you're loyal. You want to help people. So
it's hard too because people I don't say hello to people. I get straight into my shit. It's like literally one of my bad flaws. I tell people all the time. I'm like, yo, you got that blah blah blah, and they be like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't say hello.
Good morning.
I get straight to the shit. If you say hi to me, I'll say hi back. But usually I try to get straight to my shit. So not to be disrespectful. Right, but I feel like all of us are like that to a degree, right? Like you don't say you like, hey, I'm on my way there. You be like, yo, but it ain't no, hey, what's up? Like
we don't do a lot of small talk.
No, not at all, not at all. For you, I think that you're courageous, right? Because some of the things that like what he did today, you do that. Like, I don't know what it takes for you to get there, but on the outside looking in, right, you're very open, right? I think courageous is one of those, and you're also very loyal. Like if somebody rocks with you and you really rock with them, you would defend them, right? Tooth and nail, right? And so, or if someone has a story that you like, it's like this justice thing too, right? Loyal justice, like so, like making sure that the world is aligned the right way and people get restitution and all that. That's you, right? So when I look at those things, that's what I would describe you as. What did you? Oh wait, what do you have her painted as?
Oh gosh,
raw.
Based on. Oh, okay, there we go. That's around the same thing. Yeah.
And principled.
Yeah. See, yeah. What two did you have for yourself?
Loyal, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think I'm loyal, and I think I'm safe. I think like I'm somewhere what I want to be a safe place. Like one, like you said, like if I fuck with you, I'm willing to go to lengths. If you're someone I hold close to, but I also always want to be someone where like I can be a soft landing, where you can vent, where you can confess, and like that whatever you say with me is gonna stay with me, even if we have a falling out, even if like that goes back into that loyalty, right? So it's like I feel like I'm a safe place, and like I'm like a vault, so I have a lot of intimate conversations with a lot of different people that are well respected or well known, and people that I've known from childhood and that share intimate details with me because of the rawness, the vulnerability. And I feel like that's because I hope they know that they're safe with me in sharing their stories and their testimonies.
I think that is absolutely true, right? And you know what's funny? Like I said, I don't think it takes much. Right, we don't want to burn you, right? Because if we burn you, then that's when the fight back comes, right? But I think that it's like, hey, just give me a little something, right, to level with me for us to be on the same playing field. How much I may ride for you, you might have to get to level 38 for that. But I'll start you off at the starter level 5.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because time is important, and I can see you. Matter of fact, you called me, recently with some questions about things, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you right, like let's. But even in that call, that was you being level 12 you know what I mean? Like that's level 12 support you. And so I understood that, so I was like, all right, cool. And now she's entrusting me in this with this scenario, and I was like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, you know what? Let's touch on that really quick. And we love you. Don't get jealous.
No, I don't want to answer this question.
Don't get jealous. I did have a very sensitive situation and circumstance that came across me, and I called Carl and was like, I needed some guidance, I needed some information, I needed some direction, I needed some courage, I needed some strength. Like, I got a little emotional. Whoa, I didn't expect that. And Carl really walked me through it, step by step, gave me a script, led me in the right direction, and gave me a pep talk and was like, you can do hard things. You know how to do the right thing. And I just want to say, I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Because that was probably, what you don't know is that was probably one of the most difficult things I've done in a really long time.
and I was very scared. I felt very alone, very isolated, very confused. And the conversation with you gave me the strength, the courage, and the information to be able to like move forward even in my fear and confusion. So you're solid, bro, and I'm appreciate your community, your communion, and the friendship that we're building.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tag me, because I need everybody to know that. I need everybody to know. Lex, I would say he's very supportive, right?
Yeah.
To a fault. and he told you, right? Like he gave you, right? He was Marty Bird, right? Like Marty Bird is gonna be very supportive, right? But when I say to a fault, is it theirs or his, right? And most of the time it be his, because he's always selfless. Right? When it comes down to giving information and giving game, that's how I knew he started getting better, because he started back giving game again. Shit, he was acting a little like, oh, this ain't him. He ain't giving up no game or nothing like that. Motherfucker just taking life how it is. But that's who he is. He's an educator. He really thrives on like having some knowledge and giving it to you. And he gets off on telling you, I don't need nothing, right? That's his thing, right? That's his payment. It's being that guy, right? And so, him getting back to that, I think is dope. What do you think of Lex?
I think Lex is, and me and Carl have known each other longer. Me and Lex were just starting to get to know each other, and when I watch back our filming, because I watch it like tape, it's very intimate and self-reflective of me. I realize like how defensive I get with Lex sometimes, or maybe even how in the moment I hear him wrong. And it's interesting when I listen to it back and I hear him differently. And what I've noticed through all that is just how like forgiving and graceful Lex is.
Damn, like, she got it on the head.
He's so like. And I'm giving him some heat. I mean, you guys have only probably seen like level 3 heat of my real heat, to be honest, because I'm doing a lot of work.
Are you like a Thai restaurant?
Yeah, on God, literally. Yeah, you're at a 3, all right. But even like my 3 is intense, and you handle things so like gracefully, respectfully, even when, and this is the point, you're under fire, even when maybe you're being treated unjustly, unfairly. Like I haven't experienced pettiness or like disrespect in moments that maybe they would have been maybe forgivable. And so when I see you like move through your life and the stories that you share and the way that you handle people with care, it's with so much like forgiveness and so much grace and so much like understanding. And I apologize to Lex a lot. I try to take accountability, so I'm always like, I'm sorry, like my bad, I didn't mean to do this, or snap. And he's always like, it's okay, it's all right. Like he takes it on the chin. And like you said, it's a blessing and a curse, because it's such a, for me, I'm so grateful for it, because it's like you're so forgiving and loving as I'm trying to grow in my own development. But I can also see where people might take advantage of it, and that I'm like, fuck those people.
Man, she put 3 nails in the
fuck those people. But so I really appreciate the friendship that I'm building with Carl, the friendship that I'm building with Lex. It's different in different ways, and we joke about the trauma bond, but I just feel really understood, really seen, really validated, and really forgiven. And I need that in my life, because I'm really hard on myself. So I just want to thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
It's a difficult question these days. So I would say I'm unfinished.
Unwritten.
So you feel like the things that we're talking about, you're trying to work on those said things then?
Well, I mean, they are true. It's kind of a hard thing to say, because like on paper, it sounds like a noble thing. He's overly supportive, overly graceful, and it's like, yeah. But then what I've been getting the past year is like, yo, you gotta chill.
Yeah. Boundaries.
And it's me saying like, why? This is who I am. I don't know how to be different. I get these little tidbits of where it probably came from. But then I also know, like, my kid's mom being the biggest person of that is like, she's always been that, I'm going to just lock and load and kill everybody for you because you're not going to do it yourself. I'm not gonna sit here and watch people take advantage of you. Like, I'm gonna just air some shit out.
I could feel protective.
And so there's a lot of, and it's, especially women that really rock with me. They get in this very mama bear protective mode. Like, he's not gonna do it, but I can do this pretty easily. Oh, and like, it's like real. And it's nice, but it's also like, y'all ain't got to do that. But it's also, I am graceful because I think there's not really something that somebody can tell me that my inner voice hasn't said to myself to where I'm like, oh, that don't hurt my feelings because I talk way worse to myself.
I always say that. I'm like, there's nothing you could say about me that I haven't said about myself that's worse.
Or hurt before.
Right.
Like,
that's
however,
heard about.
Literally.
However, there is, I think, the messenger, depending on the messenger, that'll hurt me more. But that's more probably of a level of codependency of like, oh, I feel like if this person is off in my life, that it's like, oh shit, I can't even function or do what I'm doing because it all goes to, you got to get this right first before anything else can happen. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. This is the ultimate fire. Make it feel normal, even if normal is not exactly where normal should be. But yeah, so it's still a thing because I still like, oh, even though I have been trying to work on like, okay, let me set some boundaries, let me be less graceful, less support, and then it's more like, oh no, you still like, it's hard to find people that still have the grace that you give. Just make sure you're giving it to yourself too. So I think I've been more focused on that part than actually taking some of the grace away and being like, all right, let me stop doing that to get taken advantage of. But I'm also not around, since I became a father, so much of my energy goes to them that there's less opportunity to get taken advantage of because I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all it was. It's like, oh, I just got, everything goes to them. So normal shit I would say yes to, or I would normally be around to be putting myself in a position to get taken advantage of. It just doesn't happen because of circumstance.
You kind of have like a scapegoat.
So it's not like I'm getting better at it. I just don't have the time to have it done to me. So I'm just over here doing that.
Right. All right. Hit my hand clap. Right. Don't worry about that.
All right, we're going to work on those boundaries. And I like that we're giving ourselves grace.
You giving yourself grace.
We need it.
I know. All right, man. Once he get the hand claps working, if he gets them working, we're gonna go to Read 'em and Weep.
Ooh.
And this is a Read 'em and Weep that I did with you guys, as in the listeners.
Yeah, I loved how
that doesn't sound accurate.
Yeah, hey, what was up your booty this week where you were so interactive? I loved it.
I felt that.
I loved the polls and everything. I was like, yeah.
I felt that our listeners had
they
been
were
so
mad at
upset, so mad. That I was like, yo,
you gotta give them something.
Give some interactive shit though. Hand clap it up though. So that's what it was, and it's good content because some people would like to hear it. And I actually got the poll on this, and I'll tell you guys what the numbers are after we listen to it. I bought some lower quality grilling meat to a friend's barbecue, and a few weeks later, they called me out about it in front of another friend, totally blindsiding and humiliating me.
Oh, shit.
That's kind of like him bringing low quality meat to my shit and me telling it to him, but I don't think I would die on that hill, but still.
Okay.
The insinuation was along the lines of, what kind of person would ever eat or bring something so shit to a barbecue? He couldn't understand what someone like me, given my income and where I live, would be doing by buying so much trash food and offering it to others. That I should, and you know what? He has done that.
Wait, what?
You definitely brought in some bullshit ass cookies for
not based off his income.
Yeah, he definitely did. I never said anything to him.
Your income bracket.
He definitely
you could have brought better cookies.
No, that one time, right? Not that he does that all the time. He'll go half on things, but you have brought some bullshit items to parties.
That might have been
maybe you're in the jam. Hey, exactly. He was in the jam. I understand. I knew before I even said that. I was like, look, man, just come on. Now I've done it too, right? But anyway. Would be doing with so much trash food and offering to others that I should know better and feel ashamed. I tried to explain that this was something I'd normally buy for myself and family. I didn't see it as trash food. Moreover, I told them that this wasn't any kind of personal affront towards them. Am I in the wrong? Now, personally, I don't think so, but I also think that, give you a story. So our friend Dave, he had a barbecue last week, right? I went and I didn't know how many people was going to be going. I found out it wasn't that many people there. But I was like, well, I can bring alcohol. If I bring alcohol, that's cool. Foul part is that if you got three moms in there, 3 dads or 2 dads and then another guy and some kids, it's like, well, damn, there ain't enough alcohol that's going to be drank like today. And matter of fact, when I brought my alcohol in, which was the, what's the new ones that's like 13% or whatever, they're, the little mixed drinks like the Tiki Mai Tai.
Cutwaters.
Yes, I brought Cutwaters.
Yeah.
They looked at me like, oh no, like we got work tomorrow. I'm like, yo,
they're
but they are a little strong, right? Because I hit one can. And I was
That's
like,
the margarita
no.
I had today at Little Cutwater.
Yeah, I do. I was like, look, we're going to chill for a little longer, right? I had one of them and I was like, oh, this is hitting a little hard. But he had hot dogs, hamburgers, chips,
Soak it up.
Yeah, all kind of food, right? But it's like, yo, but this alcohol ain't, like my alcohol is not hitting the same as like, yo, bro, you need me to go. I asked him though, you need me to go to the store, pick something up or anything, because like I can see what type of environment this is.
Yeah,
you can keep those Cutwaters because I'm not going to drink them or whatever. But do you need me to bring anything just so you feel better? Because you feeding both my kids, me and my wife, right? So I could understand like in that essence if you were to have some reservations on it. But yeah, anything you got on that food shaming?
Yeah, no, I think that's terrible. Like, to me, that's not a real friend. Like, because he did it in front of everybody, right? He blasted him. Like, that, to me, like, immediately, I would be looking at you like, and I don't know if that's, like, maybe, I know.
No, we're laughing because it's fucked up to do, but he thinks that I would do some shit like that.
And that's what I was going to say, like, the parameters of, like, male friendship. I know there's a lot of shaming, a lot of shit talking, but.
That's true.
But I just, like. One, like, I think, you know, one thing that I always grew up was, like, you don't go anywhere empty-handed, right?
No.
So, but I've also grew up very much on the struggle bus. I'm still on the struggle bus. So, making those decisions of, like, well, what can I bring that is going to be somewhat of quality, but also, like, in my budget? Maybe I only have X amount of dollars into my name into the next pay period, and this is something that I feed my kids. It's not like it would be different if it's like it's not something I wouldn't eat. Like that would be a little wild. Like, you know what? I would rather like a just, hey, money's tight. I'm so sorry I couldn't bring nothing. I got you guys on the next groove. Like to the host.
Right.
Versus like bringing something that you know people aren't going to enjoy because now you're just honestly wasting your money and your time. But to call somebody out in front of everybody and to be like, why'd you bring this trash ass food? And maybe that was their last, like, we are out here struggling, people living paycheck to paycheck, like that could have been their last of the last, and they were just trying to make sure that they were coming with something, with anything, to not show up empty-handed. And for that's why I'm like, you're not a real friend, because we all know that people are going to do different things. And even if it was like a last minute convenience, like to embarrass somebody like that, and maybe that's the teacher in me, like, you know, to address students, to address adults, anybody. It's something I've learned in therapy, like, you know, those are intimate private conversations. Like, to me, the level of, it wouldn't even be about the fucking food anymore. It would be the level of disrespect. Like, if you were unhappy with something I brought, you can hit me, pull me to the side. You can hit me with a phone call, a text message like, hey, like, that's kind of weird. Like, I feel like maybe you went low budget on us, and that felt disrespectful because we always try to provide the best and we were feeding you. Then I could have come back with it. You know what? I'm sorry you took it that way. It wasn't meant to be disrespectful. Funds are tight. I was on the way, didn't have time to stop at a good place, blah, blah, blah. So, no, I don't think that person is in the wrong. I think their so-called friend is in the wrong, and I would never fuck with somebody who did something like that to me.
Absolutely. Lex?
So, there's a lot of different angles to attack this. One, he's not wrong, but it seems like, okay, so he made some assumptions. Hey, you got a good job, you make this much money. I was expecting this.
A steak Milan or whatever?
It's like he didn't realize who his friend was, because his friend is like, oh, no, I do feed my family this. Like, this is what it is. So this is now your mistake. So where he's wrong is because it was such a important piece of the party, the meat, right? I wouldn't be mad because I'm like, well, shit, hey, meat's expensive no matter what you getting. Like, all right, it is what it is. I'm probably not gonna eat this or whatever. But hey, can't be mad.
Are
at
we
nobody.
thinking he's bringing all the meats? Because I'm like,
I don't know. I'm just going with how I heard it.
I'm
and
trying to think of what's low quality meat.
like what? Hot dogs?
Like
I've been to some places where I'm like, I'm not eating that.
Like what was it?
And I'm talking outside of pork and some shit that
If
my fellow
somebody
5%ers
made some
ain't
shit,
doing.
I wouldn't do it. Right? But if you brought just like steak cuts and I get to do whatever with it, I can't trip over that.
Packaged
But if you
sausages.
brought some weird like
Hey, you go
meat
there.
shawarma,
Hey, you go to Food for Less.
Then that's that shit.
my Turkish self
you
would
trying-
bring that.
You're trying to save a
And
few
you would eat
dollars.
it and it'd be bomb.
I would try it, yes, but
I'm a trusted source.
I wouldn't even get mad at that though. It's something new to try. Go
You
ahead.
try to save a few dollars, you just up that fat content and them big ass things at Food for Less. That shit hurt going down.
My husband hates
stuck.
those. I never knew that was a thing on hamburgers. Like the fat level. You know, I don't eat red meat. So
Yeah.
I was always
You want to
buying.
save a few dollars.
So I was actually buying the cheapest fucking hamburgers, you know, and my husband was like, "No, we need 10% fat or
Yeah.
lean or whatever." So
Yeah,
you know
it does
what?
make a difference.
I guess there is a point. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
So when it comes to meat, like if I was that dude, I'm probably not going to shame you if you were in charge of that big of a thing. What I am going to shame you for,
It's not
It's condom-
checking.
I've definitely, because I've been this guy. I've shamed
Like,
somebody
hey,
in
is
front of
this
people,
okay?
but not for me.
Oh.
How dare you bring Kraft barbecue sauce to a barbecue? I will shame, hey, you might call it disrespectful. I'll do it 10 times out of 10. I'm going to call you out.
He wants stubs.
And it looks crazier me calling you out.
What is stubs?
Because you would think
The black
I'm
At
bringing the
least
Kraft.
what is it? The sweet way, the
Sweet
baby.
Baby Ray's.
Yeah, at least.
Now they got another dude named Stub.
Stub?
Yeah,
Stub
but I think
done?
they Aunt Jemima him. Like, they
Dave's
use
hot.
his picture, but it's white people that own that factory.
the Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, Aunt Jemima him.
Dave's hot's not bad, but yeah, when you craft it just to save a few pennies, I can't rock with you, and I'm gonna let it be known if I see it
In
happen.
front of everybody.
The votes are in. 73% of you said that he is not in the wrong for doing that, while the other 27% said, no, he was not in the wrong, but yes, he was in the wrong. 27% said yes, he was.
He should have brought the good shit.
27. I'm amazed that the number is a little high.
Right? That even
I thought it'd be like 15%, but there's
Snobby, like, hey, I
Yeah.
need my 88-12, my 90-10.
I mean, and if you, I guess it's also looking at it if I'm thinking of a 27%er right here, right? I'm thinking of like, yo, bro, if I told you what was up, or if I told you what items to bring, and you bought some bullshit, like if I specifically told you like, yo, get Hawaiian rolls, but you got some cheap shit like
Kroger?
But because you're thinking he's trying to save a few dollars, and in his mind he's like,
He's
no,
like,
this is what I
eat
buy.
this.
Yeah, but you know what else too? I realized that like, yo, like I am now a Sadiddy black dude.
Yeah.
Like it didn't, and I was trying to ask myself like, when did that happen? And I think right when I bought my house is when I started acting a little differently. Like I've now spent more time in my adult years with having money than I did not having money.
Ah.
Careful,
Like,
though. Hey, you notice I don't make a whole bunch of good neighborhood Otai jokes anymore.
No, but I'm saying like, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
you've
not
been out of the struggle longer than you were in the struggle.
Not to the point where I gloat about it. It's
Yeah.
just the point where I don't relate. So like one of the conversations we had that's been fucking with me lately is when we was talking about people don't have any savings. Like shit really been hitting me.
Bro.
Like I seen somebody drop one of they little 7-Eleven ATM tickets in the trash can.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, this motherfucker was right.
Yeah. But you know what?
I
Let
was
me
like,
go
it's
collect
Friday.
all of them for you.
I was like, it's Friday.
The second.
That's the amount. Yo, I was like, yo, he's right. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, like in this neighborhood, and then even seeing some of the people that come up from like up the hill, it's like, yo, we judge people all the time based on how they look, but we don't necessarily know what's really
Exactly.
going on. And I was like, damn, when the fuck did I get like so lost about this? I used to go out, feed the homeless and shit. I had an EBT card, right? And I was like, damn, we didn't always live here. This is not my childhood home. We lived in apartments and shit like that before we got here. So I was like, damn. And then I realized, I was like, he's right. So in that sense, I wouldn't clown somebody on that. I wouldn't go as far as you, like, oh, why the fuck you eating crap? But at the same time, I'd be like, damn, I just can't touch that, right? And no matter what potluck we go to, whether people got money or not, there's some shit I'm not gonna fuck with.
Yeah, I mean,
Right? I don't like people be at work, be like, oh, you want to eat? Nah, where'd you get it
you
from?
and the work potluck.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that. Like, so I feel you on this. Anything else anybody want to get off on that one? Cool. hit my hand claps. One thing I definitely want. You said you wanted to talk about something current in the events that we missed in the last 2 weeks.
I don't know.
No,
Nothing's coming to me at this moment.
Lex.
I'm cool.
Oh, you just put it over the mic there. What I was thinking of was the Olympics just came out.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
just,
I've been
that was just
watching.
gonna be like we went to shows to watch. I was just gonna be running through that.
Yeah, shows to watch, but we can do the Olympic special. So
Okay.
with that being said, I've got a
Yeah.
chance to watch a few events.
Yes.
And let me say,
Okay, sorry. I got excited.
Do your thing.
No.
Go ahead. This is all inclusive.
Speaking of the Olympics,
You have way
now,
more energy too than when I was about to deliver. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because I haven't been watching like the Olympics as far as like watching them in the live competitions. What I do is I go to YouTube
Yes.
and I watch all the events and then I listen to the commentary. And
Let me say this: it's hard to fucking do that with the time difference. Like I can't find something that's consistent until our friend told us keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. I try to look at the days or whatever. But two things that really have piqued my, I guess 3 things that have really piqued my interest in this Olympics is one, the Simone Biles comeback. And we'll talk about that and what to watch. Like that, wow, has I really reflected on just like her surviving sexual assault and overcoming her mental health barriers. And
Did you watch the doc?
I watched the doc,
There we
but
go.
even before I just watched the doc today. I had been watching her, but then watching the doc, I was like, wow. I was really taken back by the kind of global conversation around the Netherlands. There's an Olympic competitor from the Netherlands. I believe he's it's tennis, doubles tennis. He is a convicted rapist of a 12-year-old girl. So he traveled from the Netherlands to Britain and admittedly had sex with a 12-year-old girl several times. He ended up doing like a 13-month bit in Britain because of some treaty. He was able to go back to Netherlands.
It's a hard 46.
Because and the laws against child, sexual child assault are a lot more lenient. So he ended up getting out pretty quickly. And so there's been this big debate about, and the like overall, Olympic committee said that they have no control over it. If a country qualifies for the Olympics, then they have the liberty to choose who they put through their Olympics if they qualify through their system. And so overall, so that was really interesting to me. And then the whole debate about women looking masculine. So, we have our rugby. Your smile is irritating me.
No, it's just,
We have
a
the
wild group chat.
we have the I would not want to read it.
It's not us.
I didn't participate.
Okay.
We got another friend.
So there, the rugby. There's the star. I can't think of her name right now. The rugby player. There's just other women that are athletes. They're fucking professional athletes, and their bodies reflect the discipline to their athleticism. So to have men fucking mansplain and question their gender and say they look like a man and say this type of way a woman has to look to be feminine and blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, those are the 3 kind of themes that stood out to me. Besides
It's burning in
the
me. And I don't
actual
want to piss you off, but I'm gonna
beautiful athleticism that we get to see. Those are the kind of themes that have stood out to me.
The hard part, and I'm going to say this in a nice, politically correct way, is that I was watching China.
Yeah.
And they were playing badminton. I think it was badminton or it was swim, or one of them. And they put China on TV, and I had the TV on mute, so I didn't know. Like when I turned it on, it was automatically there. I thought that this Chinese team was the men's team. So when I was talking to my wife, I was like, "Yo, this the men," because they had very strong, broad shoulders. Mm-hmm. And then when I looked over, I was like, "Why are they doing like mixed gender in there?" Right? I was like, maybe they got a mixed gender badminton team or something like that, right? And no, the women from China, whatever they're doing over there, salute to them. Right? If it's all legal, no testosterone, none of that other stuff, and it's just natural what the, universal creator gave us. That's what a funny term that's between me and my wife. But whatever the universal creator gave them, right? Shout out to them. But it's hard. It's tough. Like, some of these, it's hard to tell. I was like, But, yes, you're right. Like, with the science, the way that things have developed now, technology, how people build strength and everything, you're going to have some more stronger looking people. So Absolutely. I don't know how else to say that, man. I know it just fooled me, right? And so I'm not trying to say anything negative. I'm just saying I can see why people make the negative comments because they're stupid, but I could also see where people can legitimately be in my bracket of being confused if everything is on mute. That's all I'm saying.
Damn, how she get her laps like that?
Yeah. I be hating. I'm like, yeah, I want that. But that's why I like to say that, like, yo, typically men are stronger than women because there are some women that I'm like, yo, they whip my ass, like for real. So, but yeah, I got a chance. I watched a little bit of men's basketball. I've been watching a lot of stuff like TiVo. The only thing I've been catching live is actually women's beach volleyball, in which I've gotten into it with Chang and all them. And I'm like, yeah. And then I found out Chase Budinger is like in the Olympics too. I
Getting mopped.
Yeah,
left
it's bad.
and right.
And if you guys who don't know who Chase Budinger is, he played basketball. I want to say he went to Arizona.
Yeah,
he went to Arizona. Look at that. I know a little bit about the NBA, and no one told me about that. So, but yeah,
they only mention it every match. Like
I haven't seen a single match though. I just see it when the women's come on. So Chase Budinger, he played in the NBA for a little bit, and so like for him, it was like a cool, like, oh, I get to see the guys now, in the NBA that haven't probably been around in a while, and they all respect
before
him.
he went, he was not only the #1 basketball player in San Diego, he was the #1 volleyball player.
Oh wow!
And then he was actually one of the top volleyball players in the whole country, but chose to play basketball.
More money.
Yeah, go get your bread. And then he said volleyball I can always come back to, and that's what he's doing.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
even though I make the jokes, I made a lot of jokes in the group chat that he's just getting mopped left and right, he is older. And I'm sure if he would have stuck with volleyball, he would have medaled. But he's just not,
yeah,
he's not getting it done.
He's not as disciplined.
And the good thing is I like what you said because it is kind of like shows to watch and shit like that because I got a chance to watch a little bit of I watched the whole Simone Biles doc on Netflix.
Yeah.
I did watch Sprint on Netflix too, a few episodes. And what I do like about this era of social media and like how much we give it up is that for the motherfuckers that stupid that like say a lot of dumb shit in comments that can't do what these people are doing, right? Like
That's me.
Like yeah. But it's like it gives you a good inside look to like how their lives are. Olympic athletes don't make the money that you think they make. They're going out there representing our country. I think you get
heard
like
the
50,
Flavor Flav, right?
Oh, yeah, like swimming.
I got that was gonna be my facts too, but we going way over.
Yeah, we're going way over.
Yeah.
You gotta go?
No, I'm saying I had the how much money you get per medal depending on what country you're at.
Oh, yeah, it's like 50,000, 75,000, something like that.
Depending on what country you're at. For here,
Yeah.
I think because we're used to winning so many medals, like we can't pay. Like Singapore gives you $1 million if you win a gold. A gold for US, 37 grand.
Wow.
They be running hard in some events.
And that's what's tough is like you make all your money in such a short window as an Olympian, and that whatever money you're making,
you hope for sponsors.
You gotta like all that money goes to like getting you to the Olympics.
Yeah,
I got my trainers, my nutritionists, my therapist, like all these people that gotta get you there.
Yeah,
just for you to. And it was something I've been watching Sprint with the kids because every 4 years it's the only time you're gonna see me USA'd out. Like,
yeah,
other than
that's
that,
what I was about to say.
Other than that,
if all the memes have been hilarious.
Like I'll hold the flag up and not feel racist.
For once, can feel pride.
And we're watching Sprint.
I felt it in jail
because
we gotta laugh about it.
Because I'm sitting here trying to my kids are in these organized sports now, and I'm trying to teach them discipline and just like. You really got to understand how hard some people work. It just don't just happen. And then watching Sprint, especially in that type of event, is the perfect scenario of like, yo, every single movement, every breath you take, everything you do matters to the point where the gold medal and whoever's in last place is separated by less than a second. But when you're watching it, like, look at this bum. Look how slow he is.
Yeah.
But you're just the 8th fastest person in the whole world. But we're watching it like, look at this bum. Couldn't get up.
And he won by 5,000ths of a second.
And yeah, shout out to Noah because I was like, I don't think he won that. But he was, talking his cash shit and like he almost lost. I mean, it wasn't his race, but he won it, and of course he won. He's U.S. Get it done. We double. We got 2 on the podium, all that. But me. I've been watching. The first Olympics I watched was 2000, but I was kind of in and out. I was a kid. I didn't give a fuck. 04, same thing, in and out as a kid. But 08 came, and since 08, I've been tough. Like all 2 weeks, it's all I do. And '08, I didn't have the same like
palette
TiVo technologies to where I was like, I got to get in the house. I got to watch this volleyball match. Now, like YouTube TV, shout out to them. I can watch. I know where everything's at, and it's all there to my liking because I have it. I watch beach volleyball, men's and women's. I watch basketball because I feel obligated to. I watch the 3-on-3s new. I watch that. Shout out to all Olympians except them. Because they are fucking scrubs.
No, you didn't.
Nah, fuck it. They're not Olympians.
Oh
But
my. Why are you so passionate about that?
If you're watching 3-on-3, because I feel...
Where are these guys from?
I'm an arrogant American. Basketball, something we don't lose in America. I don't care if it's 3-on-3. We gold medal the past one. I don't know what bums they're sending for this 3-on-3 tournament, but it looks like
they don't tell you their backstory or where they're from.
I'm sure they. Well, I know. Canyon Barry's Rick Barry's son. I know him. Jimmer Fredette, I know him. He just isn't playing because he got hurt. But
I was wondering why they brought him. I was like, he ain't on the.
I would have assumed the 3-on-3 were from the regular basketball.
No, they're
team.
not. I don't know
It's
why
a whole
they can't
different
go.
team.
No, these are just regular. These are YMCA people
You need
going through.
They have to qualify. No, they're not.
3-on-3 is kind of crazy
No.
though. Why even have it if you have?
But it's
5-on-5?
tiring because you don't get to stop. It's ongoing running clock, and you make the shot. You don't take it out. You just take it back, and you just keep going. So it is difficult. You have to be an athlete to do it. I'm just very unhappy to be in last place as
you
an
like the
American.
performance? I get you. In basketball,
Men and women,
In
they're
American
all
sport,
scrubs.
I get you.
And what else I watch? All the swimming, men's and women's.
Yeah, I've been watching that. The dive too.
Shout.
The dive.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
Speaking
seen
of
that.
Little
have you
ass
seen
puddle.
the synchronized Chinese divers?
I don't watch that shit.
Why?
I watch the actual swimming. There's too much
Don't,
swimming.
don't say that like dive wasn't important though.
No, I didn't see that on
You
Netflix.
said
I
actual
didn't know.
swimming. I don't like you saying that. Like it's a big.
No,
Actuals, I mean, not just diving into
dive
the
is
water.
Cool. I can't make a small.
I think I
splash.
did the synchronized stuff like when I was a kid. Like
They
that
are
shit's kinda
doing
crazy.
every single movement together to jump off the board and land in the
I
water,
feel you.
and they like measure the water ripples and shit.
Cool.
It's wild.
I'm happy it brings you
But
joy.
you've been watching the regular swimming too.
No, I haven't.
We've been
I've
kicking
just
ass
watching
in
the
there.
diving.
Nah, not like we used to.
But we still.
You just ain't been around.
I've been watching the wrong ones because everyone I've been watching the relays and shit, we've been winning.
No, the
those.
relays. Yeah,
And
relays
then we
been
got some
holding
girls
down.
in the breaststroke or whatever.
Relays been holding down. Shout out Katie Ledecky, that legend. She ain't gonna lose. But all the shit that we normally be getting it popping with.
Have you been watching gymnastics?
I
haven't
watch
heard
the
you-
women's gymnastics. I don't give two fucks about the dudes.
I feel you. I do watch the women's gymnastics.
And that
Just
was
like I don't care
before.
about
but
men's soccer. I like
that was
women's soccer.
That was before Simone. I've
There
only
are women's sports that I fuck with heavily that I won't watch men's in. Like,
Interesting.
and that beach volleyball being another one. Like, I'm not.
I watch the dudes in beach volleyball, but yeah, gymnastics. I don't give two fucks about the dudes.
I don't
even
watch the
before
men's
Simone. I
gymnastics
was
either.
watching just the girls, just because all that shit it's wild. So I was watching her doc to get ready because I was like, oh, she's gonna probably run the first weekend. They're gonna do the running shit the second weekend because I wanted to make sure I watched sprint with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when she went and did her shit and then her calf injury, I was like, damn, she about to get fucked up again. Because like she's already looked at so dominant, right? Already ran all these, just everything she does, and she missed her most prime Olympics. The one she dipped out on for her
Physical
mental
prime.
health, yeah, she was going to dominate more than she dominated this year. And dominate every time. That was supposed to be her Olympics to shine.
Most people don't understand that being 27 doing this shit.
Yeah,
is
She's
kinda
not
Sure.
supposed to be doing that.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
shit is crazy.
And she's winning by such large margin.
She's her biggest competitor. She's setting the standard for herself.
Well, yeah, because she has all them shits named at
All
her.
of
And I'm trying to
those,
like
yep,
let the
skills.
kids know,
and
like,
that
yo,
is dope. I love that in the show because I would have never known that
she has
shit.
like what 6 skills named after her.
Look, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I started noticing because I'm
Basically,
like,
you make your own shit up in the
I
air.
know-
and they
She
be
making
like,
up
hey,
her
yo,
own shit.
I know her beam routine. Even every like I know it.
Look how we turned it.
Double twist.
USA.
Hey, I was like, hey, kid, hey, what? Her hip about to move like that.
Oh,
No, when she almost fell off the beam and her big toe gripped it.
Yeah.
And
Look
she
at that,
rebalanced.
look at
USA.
I love when we,
Because
as a culture, when we watch some shit, we turn into
the
the
kids was
fucking
like, oh,
commentators.
she already did that.
You
I
see
was
her
like,
big toe grab the beam?
The kids are like, yo, she already did that. I was like, yo, but she's the only person in the world who can do that.
Yeah, they can't do the extra
And
half
sometimes
twist.
she can't even
And it
redo
makes
her
sense
own
to where
stuff.
it's like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to go to the Olympics and have 3 different dance routines. Like, no, I'm gonna do my same shit.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers can't do it.
Y'all can't stop it and get it done.
They said out of 6, only 2 people could do the shit that she did. I mean, only like a few people can do 2 of them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Suni Lee because she had a lot of health issues.
She had kidney
She
failure.
didn't start to train until January of this year. Still got on the podium.
And there was
getting
3
her
black
shit
women
done.
that were on the podium. 1 from Brazil and 2 from America. So that
Oh,
was
for the vault, yeah.
I thought that was really
Oh, no, not
interesting.
the vault, 'cause the white girl
It was
got the vault.
overall gymnastics.
overall, yeah.
I thought that was
Jordan.
interesting because in the documentary they touch on like, you know, where the sport really originated from,
They're
know.
talking about their hair being an issue.
Well, like
and all that other stuff.
favoring like, you know, white women with a small,
Yeah.
skinny built with a certain hair and look, and so. And that, you know, black women were often, you know, criticized for their body type,
I do
for their
remember that
hair.
being the thing, too,
and
when she
so
talked about
when
it,
the
too.
3, you know, when the 3 overall winners were these 3 black women, I was just like, that's crazy to look to see like what happens when we allow people to really succeed, you know, who rises to the top. So
The
Where-
thing that shocked me the most that I've been kind of like sad about is the Jamaican women's track team. They've been
Dropping out of the
pulling out of the events and the ones we want to see. Now, for whatever, I'd be really upset at myself if I was Sha'Carri because shout out to her, she silvered, 2nd fastest woman in the world, all that. This is me being the couch potato, like, what's wrong with you? But when your biggest comp pulls out, that's supposed to be your moment. You better get that gold, and she ain't get it. And
But I heard that that's the thing for all of them, that because like they said that her block time start was so bad that like she was playing catch up the whole time.
For sure.
But what
She
they were
had
saying-
that in one of the heats too.
But what they said was that the Paris officials are not allowing the 100-meter like women like to have proper warm ups. And that's part of why Jamaica was pulling out. One of the early reports.
Okay, I didn't look into that.
oh, like if you're not going to set us up for success, we're not even going to do this
No,
race.
it's like,
They
like
have-
whatever you
they
do
have
to prep to
injuries.
get on the show, like
Yeah.
mentally or whatever, they're not allowing that time and space for them to get prepped for their run.
So they're like, we're not prepared. They didn't feel prepared
Yeah, okay, I get what
to
you're saying.
execute.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
yes.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
These are like, these competitors are not, that's why, you know, it's easy for us to become couch, you know, commentators, but these competitors are not your normal competitors. Like they're thinking of when they're deciding not to participate, like you said, her number 1 competitor decided not to compete. So you would think that's your moment to step up and shine. So if a competitor, an athlete is consciously deciding not to compete, we need to give those athletes respect and support and understanding that obviously that was an extremely hard decision that they came to for a very interpersonal reason. And instead of like critiquing, I think that's when it's our opportunity to be like, even these level of athletes still have to make these decisions. And instead of talking shit about you didn't do it or why did you drop out or this could have been your moment, trying to be like, all right, well, even in these moments, sometimes we still have to step
I feel
back.
bad for the amount of work they do because all week I've been telling the kids like they work 4 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's more than that. They work 4 years to do 10 seconds of work.
Yeah.
I watched a 400-meter dude blow his hammy. I was like, yo, if
Hey,
he
you know
fell.
what? No, I got.
It wasn't like he got across the finish
Yeah.
line. He
I
fell
got
and he
another.
cried.
I
was
got
like,
another
fell for it.
half shout out, half fuck y'all to the mix. To the mixed 4x4 team. Come on, y'all. We gonna set the world record in the semifinal just to get walked down by this Mickey Mouse white girl from the Netherlands in the fucking gold. Hey, we got silver. That shit wasn't good enough. China got more gold.
Silver hurt a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
No, because they put it the medal count and like China got more gold. You're like, what are they doing? They eating more meat now. They got a first world diet and
Stop.
well, no, that's a climate change thing. China being so used for so many years being a third world country, as they've moved up in the world, so has their dietary changes. If China having a more taste for that type of protein is fucking up the earth because there's so many of them, and protein from meat and animals is one of the biggest issues in our climate. The more people that eat, the more fucked up the earth is going to be. And so China getting hold of it, and we're over here like, you can't do that. And China has the ultimate, y'all did it. We did it with the American Revolution. Any country that's trying to come up, we say, hey, this is bad for the earth. But it's because we did ours before we knew any better. And now we're just trying to tell people like, no, you can't do that. And they're just like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And so it's like a weird balance thing. But I'm not taking it there because we talking about the Olympics.
That's interesting.
China
though.
got more. We got more overall medals, but they got more gold. And I don't like that.
Yeah, I see them count like, oh, the U.S. medal count. Nah, what about the gold shit? So we're not beating them in ping pong. There's a few sports. We're not beating Japan. We don't do baseball.
Nah, but
in the
China
Olympics.
got a couple swimming medals.
It's a big deal.
And our only comp was supposed to be
Great
Australia.
Britain got like 100 meter. I mean 400. Like dudes that's just fast now. Like they running in the 100 and the 400. I'm like, yo, usually that's black athletes. Like I'm looking at they build. I was like, man, they look like us, just pale skin.
Shout out to Gabby Thomas.
Oh shit!
They
Let's
look
get out of here.
like
It's been 2
us,
hours and
just-
30 minutes. I'm
just
saying
lacking
bullshit.
any melanin.
I'm saying bullshit now. It's
I
time to
seen
go.
Gabby
It's 2 hours.
Thomas- hey.
I looked up. It's 2:30. I was like, it look like us with just pale skin, ripped abs. Yo, I seen Bud Crawford struggle in a fight against a Middle Eastern gentleman. I was like, damn, we used
That's
to kill
not
that.
right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was like, he's strong as shit.
Them old burly lumberjacks still
They
holding it
wanna-
down in the shot put though.
It's like, yo, he's fighting in Indio, California. I was like, damn, he's breathing the same air as us now. Like, he's gonna be strong as hell. All right, let's get the fuck out of here, man.